And we're live. While I put on my socks. Oh, crap. Oh, no. Do what I tell you to do, not what you want to do. And there we go. Let me jump in there and we agree. Okay. Hey, there you go. Are we still live? Yeah, looks like we are. What's up? So, the big debate, Slic 3R or Slicer, has been answered. Not that anyone really gives a crap. I just thought it was fun to find out if anyone cared. I need to clean up the desktop on my computer. There is a lot of junk on it. Folder, new folder, new folder. St. Patty's vases. All of this, whoops, all of this can go in it. And this can go in the garbage. And all of this can go into there. And that can go into there. And that can go into there. Whoops. That can go into there. And all these G codes can go away because I don't need them anymore. And WA can stay there. And these two can go in the garbage because I don't need that crap anymore. I already made enough fun of the poor guy. Should probably lay off him for now. That can go in the garbage. The hair can go in the garbage. I don't need that anymore. That STL can go in the garbage. I'll keep WA for a bit. WA. Empty trash. So, oops. I don't want to do that. Didn't want to do that. So no one else is really live streaming, so I figured I would. What's up, Run Raz? How is life? What are you up to? Anything fun and exciting on a Friday? You do know it is not pronounced Slic 3R, but Slicer. The man behind the creation of Slicer said it so. Stinks? What stinks? It is Slicer. He pronounces it Slicer. It is to be pronounced Slicer. Oh, Slicer stinks? Yeah, I very seldom use it. I keep trying it because everyone keeps saying it's so great. Every time I try it, I get terrible prints out of it. I actually went for like a month and fiddled with it every day for a month, and I never got a good print out of it. I mean, I got decent prints out of it, but nothing I would ever. I mean, in Cura or now with Idea Maker, I always get much better prints than I ever did with Slicer. And again, I'm sure it was just settings and stuff. It was so much easier in Cura back then, and still an Idea Maker now is just. I find Slicer very archaic, I guess. It's old. I don't like the layout. And I mean, I can get over the layout, but the way the windows and you open one setting and then there's like 8 more settings, windows and layers, and it's too confusing. It's like, it reminds me of Windows 95. It's not, I shouldn't even say that because Windows 95 or 98 was about the last one. Yeah, no, Idea Maker isn't all that hard to understand anymore. It does. Have you used it since the last update? The last update has made it way better, like way better. Idea Maker is very much like Simplified 3D, and in many ways, in most ways now, it's better. There's still some too many windowy. I don't like, and I'm gonna actually have to write them. That's the other thing I do like about Idea Maker. I have made comments, claims, complaints to them. They've looked into it and they've repaired them every single time. That's the thing about Idea Maker. They actually take feedback from the users, from the community. The main one is I was one of like a dozen people that was complaining that it was taking forever to print with Idea Maker back in the beginning of last year, because I used it a lot at the beginning of last year and then I stopped because of the way it ordered your shell printing. Yeah, they just came out with a new version in late October, early November, I think. And I've been playing with it. It's all I use now. I don't even, when I restarted this computer and cleaned it out, got the new computer, I didn't even load Simplified 3D. Idea Maker works so much better. I always had a problem with Simplified 3D because it is not structural. It cannot print a proper structural print. It does not attach its infill to its shells properly, particularly when they're round. Now there's workarounds, but one, why am I working around and supposedly the best Slicer, the most expensive Slicer, the only paid Slicer? Why do I have to do a workaround? And two, why is it not fixed when every other Slicer in the world can do it properly without having a workaround? And the workaround always distorted something else. Now, if you ever looked at it, if you took a S3D file and you open it up in something besides S3D, never look at it in S3D because they have a way of hiding it so you don't see it. The way they do their 3D display of the actual toolpath hides the issue. But S3D, when it travels and it's doing infill, and I'm not just talking any infill, or I'm not just talking infill, I'm talking top or bottom surface as well. When it hits a rounded surface, it comes up, it hits, and it goes straight off and then returns. It will not go up and travel and move. I mean, I shouldn't say that because it does to some extent. But if you look at it, unless you do a lot of over adjusting, you will always have around round surfaces a little void triangle. Always. It will not fix it. Now, you can overextend or basically overlap your shells and your infill to fix some of it. The problem is that swells your shells. So if you're doing like a bolt hole where you need a screw to go into it, you have to freaking, instead of just doing the 0.125 large that everybody in the world does for 3D printing, you have to adjust it even more. Usually at like 0.3, I have to oversize the hole because otherwise Simplify 3D swells the hole and makes it even smaller or bigger if it's on an outside. But it screws up the final print. You have to overestimate for it. And it's just stupid. What is up, Carl? You want to jump in here? Does anyone want to jump in here? If you want to. If you don't want to, that's fine too. Come on, Winraz, you can jump in too. But anyway, Slic 3 or Slicer has always been a very bad. When I first started, I did a lot of very strict structural and mechanical prints, and Slicer was not mechanical. I could always take a screw, and if it was accurately printed, what I mean is size-wise, so my overlay wasn't set up to compensate for that void, I could literally put a screw in and hold the product, grab the screw, and pull it out every time. Doesn't matter how many shells you got. That the infill never attached correctly to the shell. Now, again, you can overlap it a lot more, but that makes your hole wrong sized. You have to overcompensate for it. Oh, come on. You got to have a cheapo webcam. Nad. He called you Nad, man. How was the anyways, I never was big on S3D. It makes very pretty prints. And the one thing it did the best of all, and I don't know why, but the one thing I always used to use it for is for face mode. It actually it made the prettiest face. It over extruded or under extruded, or it did something to make it so vase mode, the actual layers blended together better. I could print the exact same thing with the exact same settings with Cura, Slicer, and S3D, and S3D always had the nicest look to it. That's the only thing it really used it for. Idea Maker does just as well now, if not better. I like Idea Maker's new multiprocessing. It took me a little while to get used to it. That's the other thing I used to use S3D for, is multiprocessing, because I had S3D's way of doing it in my head. So it took me a little getting used to. But Idea Makers, like with S3D, when you want to change something in your slicer or, do a multi-process, you basically tell it to stop, which they both do. You say at a certain height, stop, and then you do a new process. Well, with S3D, you do a whole new process. Everything. The whole slicing software starts over. With Idea Maker, you go in and say, I want to adjust this one thing, and adjust that one thing. And that's it. That's all it does. Now, the other thing about it is let's say you only want to do it for 20 or 30 millimeters. You just tell it to stop. You tell it to start at 10 millimeters and stop at whatever, 30 millimeters. So you got 20 millimeters of this change, and it'll go right back to the old one. Where with S3D, you have to stop it. You have a new process. Oh, I don't have the hangouts. That's why. Close. What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going?
How's the secondary night of blackness, whiteness, whatever coming?
It's about that far.
Wow.
I got turned down rollers installed and the bottom framework's done. I figured out my issue with the slide tray, so it's resolved now. It flushes off nice and neat once it's slid in there. And what I've been waiting for showed up today. Long piece of bubble wrap. No. Well, couple 1,000mm piece of linear rail.
Holy crap.
I need 700. You can pay, I forget what the cost was, but it was like $2 more to have them cut it to length at 700mm or just buy the 1,000. Well, I've got cutoff wheels for my grinder, so I can cut it to 700.
So it works better than a cutoff wheel with a grinder. It'll give you a lot cleaner cut.
I don't need the end to be perfectly clean though, because it's never going to get there.
Yeah, but you'll get much less crap in there. There's a bandsaw if you got one.
Yeah. I tried cutting this with a portaband. It's too hard. My portaband just sat there and barely scored it.
What portaband do you have? What bandsaw do you have?
I have a DeWalt portaband.
The little cordless one or the corded one?
Yeah, the cordless one.
That should freaking rip right through it.
Yeah, I hit it with the band, and it just sat there, and it put a scratch in it. That was about it. I'm like, it's just too hard to steel. It wouldn't put a dent in it.
Yeah, it is kind of harder than what I'm used to using.
I mean, this is a hard tempered steel.
The only one I like better, believe it or not, and I'm not a big DeWalt fan, as anyone knows, there's like 3 tools that I love by DeWalt. Their table saw, their portable job site table saw is by and far the best, bar none. Just because of their stupid fence. Nothing else about it's that great. It's just their fence is the best. But their portable bandsaw, that little one, you just talking that little.
It's like this big
one you can buy.
Yeah, big handle and just.
But we used to use them all the time with fencing. We used to freaking hack pipes with them all the time.
Yeah. Now those pieces will get cut down to the 700mm for the diagonals, and then I use these jigs basically. I'll slide 3 of these on there, and then I can slide the linear rail right into the little top hole there, so that it's perfectly aligned down the extrusion. Yeah. And I'll drill my holes and tap them and.
Oh, you're actually drilling it to the middle? You're not just using the T-slot?
No, I'm actually drilling it, tapping it, and mounting the linear rail on the side of the extrusion.
Yeah, you're mounting it right to that middle core.
Yep.
Instead of on the T-rails. That's cool. Good way to do it.
But yeah, that's the project for tomorrow, is cut those 2 rails down and drill and tap those 2 pieces of extrusion, and then I can start. I'll have to start running the wiring so that I can put the 45 up and start putting getting the rest of it all put together.
You got to get a higher tooth count band for the saw. The bandsaw's not cutting it. They add blades for that.
It's not like it's a big deal though, because you think about the size of the block, and then where are they at?
Yeah, it's just the grinders do so much damage.
Oh,
they leave so much.
I always tape the ends. I'll run tape down like the last 4 ends of the piece of extrusion before I cut, or the rail before I cut it. But the block takes up a space like this in there behind this mount, and this is the mounts for the X-axis to go back and forth on. The bearing block sits like this in there, so it never actually will make it to the end anyway.
No, so, I know. It's just
as long as I cut it to 700, and I'll cut it with the grinder and then hit it with the edges a little bit and smooth it out. Yeah. And once it's up in there, you barely can see the ends, and it's not going to matter. It's never going to get there. I just have to make sure. I always look at the rails to look and see if either one looks, because sometimes you can see where they've grind cut them.
Yeah.
So I always look to see which has got the nice, perfect tapered end that's supposed to have. And I make sure I don't cut that one off so that I got that end to slide the bearing pack on from.
Yeah.
don't want to slide it through any grinding, you know.
Well, the other thing is the bandsaw leaves larger chips than the grinder does, which sounds wrong, but it's actually easier to clean up the bigger chips than the real fine powder the grinder does.
Yeah.
And it burns the shit out of it too, pardon my French. The grinder's got to be burning it, depending on what.
Oh, it gets it hot. I try not to go too fast with it, but yeah, it gets hot. It'll usually try and set the tape on fire.
You know, someone was telling me that because we used to oil it when we cut real hard metals with the grinder. Because I got a big, massive one at work that we used to cut like guardrail with.
Yeah,
we're doing a guardrail, so it's almost like a sliding chop box, but not quite. It's just a huge, like 20-inch wheel with but it does slide a little bit with a different mechanism. But anyway, we were doing it with oil, and it makes the oily mess. The guy came on and he said, use rubbing alcohol instead. He's like, you have to be careful because the rubbing alcohol can burst into freaking flames if you hit it with a spark. But the rubbing alcohol actually cools it better because it does evaporate as it warms, so it actually drops the temperature faster, and it acts as a lubricant too. But it cools more than oil does.
Yeah. If I thought the heat was traveling far enough to actually ruin the temper of the rail, I do a trick I used to use for body work.
What's that?
Well, doing body panels.
Let it cool off.
No, my grandfather taught me this one. Doing body panels. If I had to do a bunch of spot welds on body panels to put like a rear quarter panel in, he taught me. I'm sitting one day trying it. I'm like, man, this keeps warping. Even just doing little spots. He's like, yeah, no. He's like, hold on. He goes and grabs a bucket, walks back into the men's room, and yanks a roll of toilet paper off of the wall. Throws it down in the bucket. He goes, where are you going to do all your spot welds at? Mark them on there. I'm like, all right. So I mark a spot weld like every 4 inches. Now, by this point, the toilet paper is just floating as, a mush in the bucket. He just pull it out and stick it right above and below where you're going. I was just basically making wet paste rings around each spot weld. Yeah. You could hear it cooling as you were welding. It'd get hot enough, but it wouldn't let it spread. It would just sizzle and keep it cool. I would do something
doing the same thing with a cooling block on a 3D printer does.
Yeah, I just go ahead and put I put a real wet rag around the end right where I was grinding and keep it from spreading any further. But I don't think it gets at the speed I'm going with it. I don't think I'm spreading more than half an inch up the end of the rail, which is not going to affect performance of what I'm doing.
You can always just stop and let it cool for a minute too.
Yeah. It's cold enough right now. I could walk out and just shove it in the snow for a second.
Yeah, well, that's what you don't want to do. Everyone thinks that's a great idea. That'll retemper it, and you'll screw up the temper by doing that. Yeah. Going from a really hot to an instantly really cold, that can actually screw up your temper. And you know the rails, if they're decent rails, they've been tempered. They're not just cheap steel.
Well, and for everything I've read, though, to make it harder, that's what you want to go. You want to go from as hot as you can to as cold as you can as quick as possible.
In a certain layer, though.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it all the way through. Because that's what good knives are, is you temper it. You have layers. The middle is actually soft and has flexibility. And the outer edge that holds the actual sharpness on a knife is super hard, but it's kind of brittle. But because it's tempered and it's not just, there's not a line of, real soft metal and then a line of real hard metal. It's a slow taper and temper from one to the other. Neither one of them holds it. So you don't chip easy, and yet you have the super hard outer face that you can sharpen.
Well, I think they temper it all at the same time. I think the difference is usually it's a folded steel knife, and they use a lower carbon steel for the center, so it doesn't temper as hard.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm talking like medieval swords and stuff where they used to temper it. That's the whole point of tempering, is having a real soft metal in the middle and a really super hard on the outside, and having the two of them transform slowly from one to the other was the trick. So you didn't have any brittle spots because it's real hard, but you didn't have any super soft, dull spots because it was, it wouldn't hold an edge if it was too soft. I always try and design an instant layer change, but it's not. The whole point is to have it gradually go from one into the other.
Yeah. Buddy of mine bought a cappuccino maker.
Yeah,
And it didn't have the press. So he asked me to print him one. He says, oh, yeah, it's this diameter. So I look it up. I'm like, okay, I made him a 58 millimeter press. Obviously, it's not the right size. Now I got a
maybe your printer's off.
What's that?
Do you ever calibrate your printer? Make sure it's printing.
I know it's not that far off.
But you have calipers?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a new set.
I've got a digital set too, but I don't like to pull them out all the time because I don't want to have to replace the batteries. And I'm pretty damn close.
Where is my set? Oh, right here.
Let's see. Just for the sake of the stream and how accurate is my printer. Get the digital ones out here.
I'm gonna get me a mechanical set. Because these were considered
1 millimeters. Okay, it's a 58 millimeter press. It is 58.07 millimeters. I think it's pretty accurate. Unfortunately, his press, they need to be it needs to be 64.
Well, I guess you're off.
Yeah, it needs to be 64.5. He gave me the wrong measurement.
Yes, he did.
Now, I am not printing this whole thing again. I'm going to just make myself a piece for the bottom that I can glue this to it. I'll just print out a 65 and taper it back to the 58. And
yeah, you really shouldn't be using that for coffee.
It's PETG.
I don't care. You know, I was a everyone's full of it person. And I have some kitchen items that I use, and some of them I don't care. I actually got my little screen drain, cup, whatever you call it. I got a couple of those 3D printed. Had them for years. They go in the dishwasher. They're fine. But I made a sponge dish that had like a little draining thing so the sponge wouldn't sit in the water.
Yeah.
And I noticed yesterday, it's like a year old. It's gone through the dishwasher. It's got black underneath the layers. I can't get it out. I'm getting ready to.
The water seeped into it. Well, if you ever notice,
it oozed into the layer lines. It oozed into it, and you can't get them out. I bleached it for over a day. And
they're like in there. Yeah, if you ever notice, Matt, from How I Do It, all the special cups and stuff that he makes, he coats them in a resin.
Yeah, well, my next thing would be to use something like this. I'm thinking about coating it in this. Time.
The goop.
Just to seal it. Yeah, the goop. Because the goop will seal it.
I told him, I said, don't ever run this through the dishwasher. Don't ever submerge it in the sink. I said, just wipe it off with a wet rag and put it away. Well, I don't think he'll ever have any issues pressing coffee if that's all he does with it.
Is dose it in rubbing alcohol and let it dry. Let it air dry. Rubbing alcohol will kill just about anything. Isn't
PLA safe for coffee press? I have no idea, but I had read PETG and he liked the look of it, so I used, and I could print it hotter. So
actually, the HTPLAs are better than even PETG. If you take HTPLA and you anneal it, it's stronger, stiffer, and better heat temperature resistance than PETG.
I know Tinkers has tried making coffee cups with their HTPLA. See if he can get them once. See if annealing them would make them watertight enough to where you could use it. I don't think he succeeded in getting one he trusted to use for
Tom does.
Run it through a dishwasher.
You ever watch the one that Tom did it? He made the whole coffee pot and everything out of PLA. He actually, I think it's out of protopasta. Yeah, he did a whole thing on it because he did the cup and the coffee pot.
Oh, Mike's doing a test
for HTPLA annealed.
How's that for
a little espresso content?
Can I share this? Let me see if I can share this with you.
Point the camera.
Mike did a test print. I just got to bring the message up so I can get the picture.
Oh, off yours?
Yeah, off of the one I gave him to test with. All right, let me see here. Gotta move this down. God, I gotta put this.
Oh, we're in Hangout. Just share the screen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm trying to get. I have chat popped out, so I'm trying to. I got you up on one monitor. I've got chat down on the other. Well, the photos down on the other screen too. So I'm trying to get all my screens positioned so I can.
All you can do is hit the share, and it'll share whatever window.
And
you can actually share a window, and as long as it doesn't have to be on your screen, as long as it's on the computer, it'll share it.
They changed the menu on Google Hangouts, so I couldn't find the screen share button.
It's over on the left.
Yeah, it used to be up in the top right, didn't it?
It still is if you start a Hangout as a Hangout. It's weird. There's two Hangouts. There's one, I started live right from YouTube, and it looks like this. If you do a phone call Hangout, it's still up in the top.
Okay. Well, here, let me talk for a minute. If you look, judging by the length of that, I'm going to say that must be about an 8-foot long rectangle he printed.
Holy crap, that's just one piece coming off of that printer.
Yeah, that's one piece coming off the printer. Which is kind of funny when you think about that he's got it butted right up against that pillar. So literally that piece of, that long square is just printing out of nowhere. But yeah, that he just wanted to do a long test print. So he apparently he printed an 8-foot long pillar.
Yeah, it's a little picture, but it looks really clean too. I don't see any.
Yeah, I don't think I got any way to make this. Let me see if there's any way I can make this bigger.
Well, you can share just that photo window.
No, it only let me share the screens. It wouldn't let me choose the.
Yeah, well, you got to go into share, and then over there you can see entire screen or application window. Click on the application window.
What the heck just happened? No, what the heck? Something just went stupid. Okay, I've got screen share, then application window.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you choose, it'll pop up and show you all your little windows, and you just choose the window you want to show.
It's not showing that window.
Did you kill it already?
No. But it's not giving me an option for that one window.
That's weird. It's usually anything on the screen that'll let you show.
I wonder if because it's a sub window inside, like a pop-up inside Twitter, if that's why
it might be, but usually where it's a separate window, it'll let you do it.
Yeah, it's not going
to. All my pop-up windows pop out that it's letting me share.
Yeah, it's not going to let me. Let me try something else here.
Looks cool. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's not going to let it go any bigger than that. But yeah. I'll have to ask him how long it was, but it looks to be about 8 feet.
I gotta get him on my Twitter. I've never frickin' followed him. What the hell is his actual frickin' Twitter handle?
Twitter. I think it's just at Midnight Giant. MIDKNIGHT Giant. I think you got it stuck on me now, don't you?
Yeah, I probably do. Stop presenting.
There we go.
Twitter.
Let me see if he tells me how long it is. Awesome. How long is that?
There he is. Follow Midnight Giant. There we go. Now I got him in my little book of tricks.
I turned screen share off, I thought. There we go. Yeah, he says it's 8 feet. I had a good guess.
Yeah, it looked about 8 feet. Well, how long is the bed? 3 feet or 2.5 feet or something like that?
The actual steel plate or the aluminum plate surface is 2 feet. He says that's 8 feet in spiral mode.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and I'm guessing
bizarre doing that at the angle in spiral mode. That must be cool. I wish I could go to Murph.
I thought you were going.
I was. I can't afford to. Both of my freaking water tanks blew out in the last 2 months. Plus, I got a refrigerator I had to buy 6 months ago that kind of wiped out my thing, and now I got our basement freezers on the fritz.
I was gonna say you should. I said if it's just a matter of getting out there, you should talk to Mike. You guys live pretty close to each other.
Well, I was gonna go with Uncle Ron. He was gonna pick me up. I just can't afford to stay there.
Mm.
And Uncle Ron's doing it like a whole week. We were gonna do a whole vacation. We were gonna go because he wanted to drive, so we were gonna spend a day and a half driving Wednesday and Thursday. Stop at IC3D's thing on Thursday night or Friday.
Yeah.
Do Murph, stay Sunday night, hang out Monday, and like go see Chicago or something, just kind of do some sightseeing Monday in that general area, not necessarily in Goshen, but that general area, and then drive back there Tuesday and Wednesday. But
yeah, that's I figured.
I can't afford the hotel rooms, let alone anything else.
Yeah, because that's why I'm taking. I'm still working on. It's like I'm trying to put that together and build the RV bus at the same time. Talk about stretching myself too thin.
You got a hotel reservation?
Nope.
You want one?
No.
I still have my reservation at I'm going to cancel it probably in the next couple of days.
Yeah, no, the goal is I'm taking the bus in for inspection Monday. I'm going to drive the bus out. I figure it's going to cost me $400 to drive the bus, but the nice thing is it's like, I think it's $25 a night to stay at the campground. So for like $475, I'll go out there and back. I would have spent that much in almost a hotel room alone.
Yeah, well, my hotel is just about that. It's about $400 I think it was 3 days I was spending it.
Yeah, because it was like 100, and I think the last time I priced out was like 130 a night.
Yeah.
My
first night, because it's cheaper during the weekend, and the weekend was more expensive, but I think it was like $99 for Thursday and Friday. And then Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday were like 120 or 130 a night.
Let's see.
It came out to just over $400 for me for the 4 days I was planning on staying there, which I got to cancel it. I can't have it.
To answer your question, Raz, he plans on printing really big swords. As if he didn't print big ones already. I just gave him the ability to make as big as he wants, pretty much. I know he was talking about doing a sword. He said when he sliced it out, it was going to take 5 days per half to print. Something like an 8 foot long. I think that's why he printed that spiralized square, because he wanted to see how long an 8 foot long sword would be printed on that thing.
8 foot long sword.
The thing that's cool is it'd be an 8 foot long sword printed in 2 pieces.
Yeah, because you're going to print a top and a bottom and glue it together. Yep.
Yeah, print 2 pieces, slap them together, and glue it, and that'll be it. I'm trying to convince him to print he keeps doing a lot of stuff with that stainless steel fill from Protopasta. He's done a couple daggers in it and polished them up real nice. I keep trying to convince him he needs to print me a full-size samurai sword with that thing and polish it all up.
Well, why don't you? You got one.
Once I get it back, but he's the expert at getting it all polished and pretty, and I figure why not let him do it?
Yeah, because he gave him that printer. I'm assuming he paid for all the parts.
He's paid. To be honest, he's paid for the majority of the parts for his and mine. Mm-hmm. I had the extrusion and I had the duet and everything, and I had the test belt stuff, but he paid for a lot of it. But
that's cool. You get that set up, you can get a production line and start selling them damn things.
I've had a couple. I have had a few people say they want to talk to me about, because I really don't want to make printers. I don't want to. This thing's a pain in the butt to assemble. I don't want to be making these nonstop. Though I see me making a few in the next year.
Well, there's a few ways you go about it. One, you get someone like me that'll do it all for you, and you just kind of sit back and point fingers.
Yeah.
Or the other option is you get in touch with someone like Zyltech, where they do the
kits.
Yeah, we'll have them sell a kit and slap your name on it, and you get a cup for everyone.
Yeah, I've had a couple companies come to me about wanting to do kits. Anywhere from just finding sources for the rollers and cutting having the extrusion all cut and everything, and having some company make the wire harness.
Yep. That's the one thing I like about the Xylotech in the what do you call it unit they have stages. You can buy just the frame.
Yeah.
You can buy, there's like 4 stages they sell it in. That way you can build it. That's what I like. I wish more, I've been saying that for years. I wish more kits were like that.
Yeah, because I was talking where I wanted to go, okay, they were talking stage 1 would be, okay, the stuff that you can't do easily. Make, for Joe Blow at home that doesn't have a lathe and a mill and everything I've got. Okay, here's the rollers. Here's the belt. Here's some custom cut nozzles. What sizes do you, or they'll be out there. Here's custom cut nozzles. And probably the 2 side pieces of extrusion, because they've got all the special cutting and everything. I would do a kit that would be the extrusion, the rollers, and the belt, basically.
Yeah.
And
you put whatever board and head and.
I mean, honestly, I'm designing this to work with the duet, so you'd still probably want to go with the duet or fouet, because you can the firmware is going to work either way. But one kit would be the custom cut extrusion, the rollers, and the belt. And then you could sit and, piecemeal the rest of your parts in there and dial your duet in, or you could go, okay, well, I want everything he's got. So then the next step would be the duet and E3D steppers or the LDO steppers, the BMG extruder, be all the electronics and everything. And then you'd have to make up your own wiring harness. The next stage would be, here's the custom wire harness already made. All you got to do is clip all the ends on, because to feed it through the tubing, everything, you'd have to make it with just the pins and no connectors.
Yep.
And then put the connectors on after the fact. And then one person's even talking so far as to maybe even send all the STLs out to have all the bracketry CNC'd out of aluminum instead.
Yep.
I said that would be a tank if that was all CNC'd out of aluminum. If you did all if you did all the brackets out of aircraft grade aluminum, you could pick that thing up by the top bar and carry it. You could probably do it now with the print, but I just don't want to risk it. I don't want to stress the plastic that much.
Yeah, the plastic kind of.
Hey, red light. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens and how much interest and how bad my Twitter blows up after Murph.
It'll blow up. Well, you let me know if you need help, because I need a new job. I'm just not going back to construction. I just can't. I'm too old and tired.
I mean,
the body.
The one nice thing everybody has said that I've talked to so far has leaned toward you design it. You may, like I'm publishing all the files. I was going to publish it all on Thingiverse, and a couple of the people I talked to really pushed me against putting all the files on Thingiverse because of MakerBot's history of stealing good designs for their own production.
Yeah, I'd use my mini factory or something.
Well, I went ahead and there's a Thingiverse page created for it still. I'm just going to post a couple pictures of it and then a link, and I'm posting all the files on GitHub instead.
Yeah.
And then what I'll probably do is I'll probably make it to where people can make, what do you call it? I'm still learning GitHub. But
I don't get GitHub. It's too techy for me.
It's hard for me to understand, but it seems like the best way to let people collaborate on something is I can make it to where people can, I'll have my original files and someone can say, hey, I redid the corner mounts so you can use a regular pulley instead of the bearings I'm using or whatever. Okay. And they can post it up there with the exact same file name, but in their spin-off directory. So then I can look at it, test it, decide if I like it, and then if I like it, I can incorporate it over into the main as the main set of files.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody I've talked to is like, if I were to decide to let someone produce kits, it would be my job to administer the GitHub and keep track of, modifications people have designed for it and determine what would be, okay, hey, here's version 1. Okay, all these users have given me, or I've come up with these upgrades, or someone else has come up with some upgrades, and go, okay, here's enough to make it worth doing a version 2, and we're gonna stop making version 1 and start making version 2, and here's the kit for everyone with version 1 to upgrade to version 2.
Yeah, do the same thing Prusia's doing.
My job would be to control the design.
Yeah.
And then they would just produce the kits, and I would get my percentage for every unit that was sold. I'm like, I like that idea. I can sit and I can administer the kit and the upgrades. I don't want to have to hire 20 people to work in my basement and build printers. And my basement's not that big.
Yeah, well, that's when you rent a shop or build a shop somewhere.
Yeah, then I got to get a business license and pay unemployment and, Medicare, Medicaid, all that crap. I got to file quarterly earnings statements, and no, thank you.
That's what accountants are for.
Yeah. Did you see the comment I put on Twitter last night?
I don't know. Did I?
I put one out there. I unsubscribed to Naomi Wu like.
Oh, I did see that.
After I subbed her. And
I still see her tweets all the time too, and I'm not subscribed to her.
And it kept recommending tweets for her, and I'm like, I unsubbed her for a reason. I don't want to see all her tweets.
Yeah, but she's.
I hate to say it, there's too much hate around a lot of her tweets. Yeah. I'm like, I don't need that. So I unsubbed her. Well, apparently it made it back to her. Somebody actually tagged at the Real Sexy Cyborg in one of the posts, and she made a comment. She goes, well, I can block you if you want, wink, but really, and she just, she goes, I can understand if you want to block me because, I don't do a lot of 3D printing in my content anymore. I said, but, and then somebody comes in and makes a comment, and I almost want to pull it up and read it because the one comment kind of tweaked my melon just a little bit. Which is why I stopped following her.
I don't have anything against her. I used to follow her, and it's just like half the stuff she's doing I have zero interest in. And
she said something on one of her videos or one of her streams, and it struck a chord with me. Something along the lines, and I don't remember the exact wording, but basically calling all white Americans sexist pigs. Yeah. If you're white and you're American, you're a sexist pig. And I'm like, really? And she says we stereotype Chinese people and we stereotype women. And then she says something like that. I'm like, okay, you just stereotyped every single American male. But that was the day I unfollowed her.
Yeah, I stopped following her a long time ago because she just doesn't interest me. I mean, she's fun to look at. Big whoop. That lasts for about 10 seconds.
One of my favorite comments is someone went, well, I would think naked and real sexy may trigger the recommendations.
Whatever. People are just idiots. Although I will say, do you know what that column you did with Walter's head on it looks like?
Yeah, that's why I didn't publish it.
I saw that and went, holy crap.
I posted the picture, but I didn't even save the file. I dropped his head on the pillar. I snipped the picture, posted it, and I deleted it. I didn't even.
Dude, I was scrolling, because I don't read everything in Twitter. I don't read that fast in the first place. I'm a very slow reader, so I have a hard time following people and reading all the crap and feeding through it. So I just naturally scroll by stuff until I see something that, holy crap, and it was just like scrolling by and I went, what the hell was that? I saw your name on it, and then I saw it, and I'm like, why is he commenting on a freaking vibrator? I scrolled up, and it's Walter's head. I was just like, holy crap.
And you thought putting him on a toilet was bad.
I got to finish that. I was actually looking at that today.
But no, one person made a comment. Twitter just knows that deep in your heart, there's a dark spot that actually wants to keep seeing at Real Sexy Cyborg. And here's the part that I didn't like. even though your uber ego will not admit it. I'm like, I have a big ego? Really? I didn't realize that. I want to be accepted. I want to be recognized, but I don't have a big ego. Ego would imply that I know I should be recognized and everybody needs to respect me and show me. No, I'm not. Yeah, I don't even want to continue with that because someone will clip it and say that's what I said.
Yeah, that's why I just. The only one I've been commenting on and torturing is douchebag there that was beating on Prusia. I'm beating on him because his comment. I just know.
Yeah, I said I
just kind of let that stuff slide, but I'm loving torturing him because he's just asking for it. I mean, it's so obviously.
Thanks, Jake. Love you too, man.
I don't know if you. I'm not even looking at the chat. I don't even have it up. I should probably break it off, huh? Who's even in here?
Let's see. We got One Res, Red Light, Jake from State Farm, Steven the Lightspeed, and Michael Castle just showed up.
Hey guys, what's up? What the hell is his name there? Prototype Test, whatever his name is.
Design. Is it?
Yeah, you
know. Prototype Test or something like
that. I guess he went after Tom too, Filament Frenzy.
Oh, really?
Comments, not really after him, but started mentioning him just like he did with Walter. Like mentioned him, but in a negative.
Probably got his name wrong and everything else. Knowing that guy, because I've seen some of his before. He literally butchers people's names.
See, my thing about it's not even that. I butcher people's names too. I do it all the time. I don't read very well and I don't pronounce things well because my mouth is so screwed up that I'll shortcut stuff or edit it to make it easier for me to say.
Yeah.
Because people don't realize, but half my face has been rebuilt and speaking is not my easiest thing. I sometimes have to stop and think about how to say it, not just what to say. But anyways, but he's just, and then Tom did that one where he took the crying SpongeBob eyes and put it on there. Oh my God, that was so great. I just like an hour ago, I took that and I brought it over to that 3DP rock where you make lithophanes, and I made a lithophane out of it. Because it's just so funny.
I forgot how wide
if anybody wants the lithophane, I haven't even printed it yet, but I posted it. I haven't put it on Thingiverse or anything yet because I don't know if I want to do that. It might be a little much. But it's on my Google Drive and I left it open. So if anyone wants it, you just go on Twitter and you can see the tweet and you can download the lithophane of wah. I called it wah. You can download wah lithophane and print it out. Walter's saying no. Oh, maybe. Say yes, Walter. Yes. Thought so. Yeah. Go download it, right, Walter? Yeah. Thought so.
What's Oh, you saying Lightspeed's the jerk? Okay. Hi, Matt, Mike, Hunter, and Mike.
Yeah, that guy was beating
names on purpose, though.
Which, I read some of Lightspeed's comments and they were aggressive, to put it mildly. Rightfully so, because that's one of those things where, again, because I don't speak and read and write so well, I always like to type fast and then, say real mean crap in response because your head's just pissed off. And I've learned to just stop, not post anything, wait an hour, and go back and think about what I'm saying so it's constructive. I mean, if anyone read my response to him, you can tell I waited an hour and let my head cool because when he was commenting on Walter and then even going after Lightspeed, I was just ready to go, screw you, you jerk, and just type nasty crap to him. And I'm like, it's not going to get anywhere. He's just going to look at it and go, oh, you're just a troll. And rightfully so. I mean, that's what trolls do is just get aggravated and start typing crap at rapid speeds. And just say angry stuff to insinuate anger more.
Yeah.
So I stopped and I rethought it and I, typed very neatly and I actually typed it out, in like my notepad and then copy and pasted it in there so I could read it and think about it. And I made it very, I put a couple of 3 paragraphs in there and said, dude, you need to, like, for one, he's going on about how Walter's doing this and that and the other thing. And then when Lightspeed, I think it was, said, what the hell, you don't know this guy? And he's like, well, I just went and looked at it for a minute or two, and that's, I judged it from there. I'm like, dude, how are you judging someone from watching a minute or two of their video? That's what got me. It's like, oh, his friends are bad, and Walter's a bad guy. That country bumpkin guy was a bad guy.
That's the part that I think really pissed Walter off, was calling him a country bumpkin.
Well, the cool thing is Walter's showing he's even better than what the guy says, because Walter's just like, whatever about the whole thing. I mean, he got pissed, but again, he posted a nice, calm response and like, dude, let's talk it through. And basically, you say anything to Walter now about it, and he's just like, he doesn't want to talk about it because he knows he's just going to get pissed off and say something he doesn't want to say. So he just doesn't talk about it. Right, Walter? Yep. Don't talk about it. Right, Walter? I got to finish this thing. Yeah.
Did you ever finish the scan of Regina's head?
No. It's close. I'm almost ready to just give up on it and leave it as is. It still just doesn't look like her. I can't get it to really look like her. I don't know why. It just doesn't. It always gets distorted and looks like some kind of Frankenstein monster if I keep working on it. I just don't get why I can't. And I can see it and I know what to do, and when I do it, it just looks wrong. I don't know how else to describe it. I think I need to almost start from scratch. I might just do that as start from scratch. I got to finish this because I want to mail it off to him. I'm actually thinking what I'm going to do is finish it up and mail it to someone else and have them bring it to Murph, like stick it in his face.
You should give it to Mike.
Who?
Midnight Giant.
Oh, where's he live?
Lowell, Mass.
Oh, that's the other direction.
It's
like 2.5, 3 hours away.
Isn't it? Doesn't he have to pass you on the way?
No.
Oh, I thought he did.
Way south of him. He's going to go straight across on the Mass Pike and then go into Chicago, go up and over through New York and Chicago. He's never. I'm right on the water in Connecticut.
Okay.
You can't get any souther where I am without.
Oh, well, okay. Well, then it'd be cheap to mail it to him because he's close.
Well, Uncle Ron is right on Long Island. He's actually
okay.
He would have to go by me like 10 minutes away to get out of the island. He's either going to drive around the island or come across on the ferry. If it comes across on the ferry, I can like stand on my roof and see the ferry coming across. I mean, it's not that close. Just I can see it because I'm right on the water. I'm as south as you can get in Connecticut.
I'm in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. I shouldn't say that. I say that I'm literally like an hour and a half from Philly and an hour and a half from Baltimore. They actually have a church in my hometown. It had at the time it was built, had the tallest spire between the two to mark the midway point between Baltimore and Philadelphia.
How very nice. I have the most military bases. 10-mile radius.
You have the what?
I have the most military bases in a 10-mile radius.
Really?
Yep. There's like 8 of them here. Dude, not 2 miles away is Stone's Ranch, which most of you guys don't know about, but if you studied it, it used to be the National Guard's aircraft and landing and launching for Connecticut. It's the shoreline defense, which they did commissioned all the A-10s. Bitches. They decommissioned all the A-10s, and the feds took it over, even though it's still a National Guard base. It's actually now the International Terrorist Training Camp. It's where they do all the training for like Navy SEALs and stuff to attack terrorists and crap. When they're there's a whole you can see it on Google Maps actually. You can see they built the town where the old airport used to be. It's like a, if you look at it, it's like a quarter-mile square that looks like Iraq. Then we have the sub base. We have EB. We have Camp O'Neill. We have National Air Defense, which is up in line, which most people don't realize is up there. We have 3 of the National Air Defense radar towers. We have Millstone Power Plant. We have, and these are all within, like I can get on my roof and see all of them. They're all within like 10, 15 miles of me. I think there's 8 military bases within 15 miles of me. Total. You know, some are just little rinky-dink nothings.
Yeah.
There's like 6 mini airports.
Yep. Let's see. Today I went into Big Lots and found 2 chairs that'll work perfect for captain's chairs in the bus. So they were like $300 a piece. I walked through Bob's Discount Furniture, and in their discount warehouse, they've got this huge leather. I'm sure it's fake leather, but this huge leather couch. I'm like, I really wanted to get a couch that had recliners in it and the fold down center for the cup holder.
Bob's all the way down there.
Yeah, we got Bob's all the way down here.
You realize that started right here too, right in New London. His first store was in New London.
But I look at this couch, I was like, it's so comfortable. It's not really what I'm looking for, but it's huge and it's comfortable and it's on sale for $300. And they're doing one of those sales where as time goes by, they'll tell you what the price is going to be in so many days. Well, I looked at it and it's $300 right now. And if nobody buys it by Monday, it'll be $250. I'm like, man, it's not really what I want, but it would work. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to let fate decide. If on Monday I walk in there, that sofa's still there, it's getting bought and thrown in the bus.
Ollie's? Never even heard of an Ollie.
Ollie's? Oh, Ollie's is great.
Don't have them around here.
Especially if you like books, you know, if you like, because they've got all sorts of books. They've got from, you know, the stupid little romance novels to like especially if you want coffee table books. Like if you want the all about cars from the 70s books and stuff like that, you can go in there and get them for like $5. And it's a book this big and that thick. And
yeah, the ocean's basically at the end of my driveway, Jake. Yeah, actually you're not that far away either. You're on both sides of it. You're on the sandbar. I keep forgetting you're out on the sandbar. You're not that far from me either. Actually, I didn't even think of that. Did Uncle Ron ever get a hold of you, Jake? When I told him I wasn't going to Murph, that you might be interested in taking my slot in his truck.
Who are you talking to?
Jake from State Farm. He lives right on Long Island. He only lives like 15 minutes away from Uncle Ron's. They're only like one town apart. They both live out on Long Island.
Oh, so that's who bought all the Toys R Us toys. Ollie's. Okay. Halfway between Erie and Pittsburgh. What's the name of the town, Michael, if you don't mind?
Ohio line. Ohio.
He's stone's throw from IC3D. He's got an easy trip if he's going to Murph to go to the meetup out there. Greenville. I don't know that one. Okay. Hold on. No, okay. I was thinking Greenville was where the one plane crashed, but I don't think that's the name of it. I got family that lives out in Bedford.
So wait a minute. Midnight Giant went all the way down to printed solid. Although I guess he was getting a printer. So
yeah, he had more than one reason to come. He wanted to come to one of the meetups anyway, but no, he wanted to get the printer. Yeah. He is chomping at the bit to get a hold of that thing.
Too, but that's just too freaking long of a drive through Connecticut. That's the problem, is getting through Connecticut. Dude, when I went down to Earth, I've said it a million times, getting through Connecticut was the shortest part of the trip and took me the most time.
Well, he was saying the same thing. He said, you getting out of New England sucks. He says, once you get out of New England, you cruise. He says, you'll fly till you get to New York City. Then you got to skirt around the edge of New York City. And depending on how bad the bridge is backed up, depends on how fast you get around the outside edge of New York City.
Yep. It's funny because growing up, it was always you went across the Tappan Zee Bridge, never went across the GW. And now you go across the George Washington because the Tappan Zee is like a construction nightmare. In fact, actually, they just dropped one half of the Tappan Zee, didn't they? I don't think people realize the Tappan Zee Bridge is not getting repaired; it's getting replaced. They're building a new one right next to it, and as they're basically veering onto the new one, as they replace the piece, they drop the old piece into the water and clean it up, kind of like they did the Baldwin Bridge here. They found it's cheaper to build a new bridge than it is to try to repair the old one.
Usually takes less time, too, these days.
Yeah, well, you can let people stay on the old one, patch it enough so it's safe,
build
a new one and not screw with traffic too much.
You can tie everything almost right into it and then just switch over.
Well, that's what they did here with the Baldwin Bridge. Crosses the Connecticut River. And they use that. That was the first bridge. You probably never even heard of it. But the Baldwin Bridge is the first one ever to use a salamander crane. It was built right here, straight over there.
That put a good hurting on that roll.
What the hell is that? Protopasta, what color?
Blue Wonder.
Oh, that's the lighter blue. It's like that winter blue.
It's
got too many glittery blues.
it's a clear. It's a clear PLA they start with on that one. Of course, I didn't do as bad a job on as I did on this roll. I got like 4 or 5 wraps left on that one.
You need to say you got too many rolls of that freaking polyalchemy. You need to send me a couple of them rolls. They're just sitting there wasting. They need to be used.
What color?
Any of them? I love polyalchemy, dude.
Pick a color. I see you already got purple.
I have 2 or 3 purples. I've got the lavendery one.
If you pick a color, I still have a pretty much okay. These are all unopened rolls.
Of everything.
These are unopened rolls down here. These are the ones I'm printing from over here. So if I've got almost a full roll here and you want a color I might be able to work something out with you. Of course, I shouldn't say this because now I'm sure everybody in the chat is going, me.
No, I'm not greedy. I'll do like if you got one of the oranges or the pink. How nice is that pink?
The pink?
I don't have
bubblegum pink. Well, let's put it this way. Heather loves it.
Oh, I know she does. But actually, have you printed with it? Because that's the one thing I've noticed is polyalchemy like changes when you print with it. It looks different after you've printed.
Here we go. If you remember, I did the ribbon candies.
Yeah, so you really can't see it. It's shining off the camera too much, off the light. Speak.
That's pink, white, and Merlot. If you want for color definition or contrast. It looks like, honestly, it looks like Bubblicious.
Do you got any of the stones that they just came out with?
Yeah, I have one. I don't have any extra. Literally, I got it. I got it before he started making the boxes for it. So I don't have the cool black boxes.
That sucks. I want to try that. I actually want to try the sandstone, that kind of tan one.
This color?
Yeah.
It worked great for making Sandman.
I bet it did.
Because it's actually got the little black flecks in it, so it kind of looks like beach sand. Or I said it actually looks like playground sand.
You got like 3 or 4 different oranges there, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's okay. Go. You have Merlot.
Yeah, I got.
You have crimson, which everybody says looks more like a salmon color.
Yeah, it's almost pink.
You got the pink, the copper, the orange version 2, and then Gold Rush. Yeah, and then the only one I don't have over there that I have over here, then it goes to the Summer Days in the bright yellow.
I didn't really like that yellow that much either. It doesn't have that polyalchemy look to it to me. It just looks like a fancy yellow. It doesn't look like, you know what I mean? Polyalchemy has a look, that silky look.
I think the yellow is one of the best colors they've got, honestly.
Really? So I've never actually played with it, so I don't know. It's just looking at their site. It looks yellow to me.
It's a very vivid yellow. I don't know if I have anything printed with it, though.
You got it on your little...
Yeah, I got it on the pangolin.
I can never say that. I call it an accordion. Accordion critter. See, it's glaring now. You can't really see it off the camera.
Yeah, it's trying to get a...
Yeah, but it just looks like shiny yellow. It doesn't have that shimmery polyalchemy look to me.
I've seen a few prints at Printed Solids done with it, and it's killer. It's probably one of the more vivid yellows you can get.
I love the Merlot. I love the blue, the dark blue, and I love the dark purple. The lavender-y one is and the sky blue is okay. I like it in certain situations.
Wow. Jake don't want nothing from me. I don't want your filament. Wow, fine, Jake. You can't have any of my filament.
Give it all the time. Yes, please, give it all the time. yeah, give it all the time. Don't take it off. I got to talk to Dave. I've been hitting up, what's his name at Printed Solid, and I guess he's handing all the filament stuff off to Dave now.
Matt, you mean?
Yeah, and I did everything through Matt originally. I talked to Matt a lot back around before and around Earth a lot, and we were talking about having me where I'm off right now, doing some filament reviews. You know, he'd send me like half rolls and crap and stuff they played with and then didn't finish the roll, so he'd send it to me to do a review of it. And he's saying they were all sick when we were talking about it, and they kind of just let it ride. And he's like, I'm passing all the filament stuff off to Dave for some reason or another.
That doesn't... I have a hard time believing that just because Matt's joy is filament.
Yeah, I know.
That man knows more about filament than most of us put together know about filament.
He's so quiet, too. Like, if you ever watch the interviews, even that Joel does with him, you have to work an answer out of him. He's one of those.
If you get him talking, he's different. But you know, he doesn't like being. I don't think he wants to be famous.
No, he doesn't like being in the spotlight at all. But he's very good at the one-word answer. Do you like this filament? Yes. You know what I mean?
I mean, but if you get him talking, you say, okay. You know, if you say, I want to print something, I want to print this shape, but I need it. If you had technical knowledge, you said, I need to print this shape, but I need it to have a tensile strength of 200 pounds, and I need it to be able to flex this much, and you could give him specs. He would go, okay, well, this one right here will. What's that?
You know what that looks like in your hand, the way you were just holding it?
Yeah, probably what you're thinking. I always thought it looked like the top half of the air hockey handle.
Yep.
I swear they took that handle design off of an air hockey thing, but yeah, I know what you're thinking. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Can't help it. I'm a Dutch old man. Yeah, you know, if you loosen up on one of them rolls of pink or orange, or I don't care.
I was gonna say, especially if you were going to Murph, I'd be like, dude, let me know what you want. I'll pull a couple rolls and I'll give it to you. The trick is getting it to you.
I so wanted to go to Murph. I can't. I could probably, honestly, if I really, really wanted to, I could probably pull it off. But knowing my luck, one more thing in the house would go disastrous, and then I wouldn't have the money to repair it. Because I've burned through all my play money. And it's only February. Well, March. Oh, crap. It's March, isn't it?
Yeah, today.
Well, my birthday's Sunday. I'll be even older.
You'll be 54?
Yep.
Oh, wow. I can't believe I remembered that.
I can't either. If you hadn't said it, I wouldn't have remembered. I have to do the math nowadays to remember how old I am.
The only reason I know how old I'm turning is because Twitter or Facebook told me so.
Really? I could swear I made it so I'm 100 years old on Facebook. Maybe that's true.
Mine, for the longest time, I had mine set to like the wrong day and the wrong year or something like that.
I always do like 1900.
And
so it makes me like 100 years old or whatever.
I used to laugh to see which of my friends actually knew me well enough to know when my birthday was because I had the day off. And you go, and on the day, Facebook tells everybody you get 50 birthday wishes. And on your actual birthday, you get like 3 from someone going, Facebook's wrong. I know today is your birthday. I got the point, I'm like, there's no point. I might as well just correct it.
Hell, I don't even remember my own birthday, not alone anybody else's anymore. I shouldn't say that. I remember 4 people's birthdays because mine is the 3rd. My brother's is the 8th. My best friend growing up is the 12th. And my artificial sister, I guess you could call her, a girl that hung out with the family since we were little kids, her son's is the 21st. Oh, my other brother his is exactly a month before me. He's on the 3rd of March or 3rd of February. He just had his birthday. Well, happy birthday to your wife, Michael.
Yeah, it's like I can remember mine, my mom's, my dad's, my daughter's, and my ex-wife's, just because hers is the day before my dad's.
Yeah, I don't even remember. Half the time, I don't remember mine. To be honest with you. But then I don't remember the day. It just doesn't occur to me. I get people coming up going, happy birthday. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
I remember mine because usually I don't work on I actually made it through 20 years in the military and never worked on my birthday. I always had bosses that were very cool about anniversaries and birthdays. And they used to tell everybody, look, everybody gets 1 free day off. He goes, it can be your anniversary if you're married or your birthday if you're married, you don't want to take the day off, but you can have 1 free day a year off. I always had bosses that were like that. So I'm like, okay, I'd always take my birthday off because most of the time I wasn't married.
Well, that's all right.
And I got out and I was so mad. I went like 5 years with Advanced Auto Parts before one of my guys screwed me and called out sick, and I had to go into work on my birthday. I'm like, you jerk. You ruined my record.
You want to hear something really funny? Every year since the day I was born, we had a major blizzard in Connecticut. And every year since then, it snowed on my birthday. Last year, it snowed in the morning. And it was like 65 degrees by noon. But it snowed in the morning.
When's your birthday?
Sunday. 3rd.
Sunday? Last I checked, they're calling for snow on Sunday.
For you. Actually, yeah, I think we are. I think we're going to have it Sunday night.
See if you can keep your record going.
It's just, last year was or not last year, the year before last was the first year it did not snow at all. We had rain.
One thing I don't like about Pet G, it's always so stringy.
Yeah, that's why. Dude, I got into HTPLAs and I learned all about it and the whole annealing and everything. And I have some Pet G. Pet G is such a pain to print. It's a pain to get the first layer down good.
I don't have a problem getting into it here to glue stick.
It always sticks to the nozzle.
Yeah, usually I can get it to stick to glue stick pretty easy.
Yeah, I just started using glue stick again. I stopped using it forever, but even with the blue tape now, I'm starting to put glue stick down because it just leaves a nicer first layer. It just holds better. I don't have to be so picky about my layer height. I can be way too high, and it can literally come out of the nozzle and sag down onto the bed with a full hole.
There we go.
Yeah, I've been putting glue stick on blue tape.
I started off with hairspray and had terrible results with it, and didn't like the fact that it seemed like it was coating the inside of my printer with hairspray. So I stopped using that.
Dude, if you worked in construction for as long as I have, you would never ever use hairspray ever again. People don't realize how bad. I can walk into a house when I'm doing remodeling, and the house is gutted. I can walk into a room and look at the walls and go, there was a chick that used hairspray in this room.
Huh.
It's freaking noticeable.
It's crystallized, isn't it? It like splitters the wall.
Tacky and yucky on the walls. You can't clean it. Everyone's like, oh, it's water soluble. You cannot clean it off the walls when it gets that thick. And there's always like this like, it almost looks like the old bars when you'd get that cigar and cigarette like tobacco stain up at the ceiling. You get that same effect with it. You could see where they sat. There'll be like this like nasty slime on the walls where they used to spray it. And yes, people are like, oh, I can control it. It's putting on my printer. To a point, it's atomized freaking liquid. It's getting everywhere. It doesn't go in a straight line. It spreads. It hits and bounces.
Yep.
It goes everywhere.
That's what I didn't like about trying to spray Aquanet.
With a 3D printer.
It's like trying to spray Aquanet inside a DaVinci enclosure. I'm looking, and it's just, I could see after the first couple times I used it, it was coating everything in the enclosure. I'm like, that can't be good for the rods. It can't be good for the bearings. I'm like, no, this isn't going to work. So then I started researching, and the next thing I started playing with glue stick till I found the glue stick that I liked.
When we started first playing with computers back in, 80s, the two things that they warned against, you'd think would be humidity, right? Mm-hmm. Especially the old computers, and computers and TVs, and tobacco, because of the tobacco settling in the air. And tobacco is still one of the worst. People don't realize it's the number one electronics killer is tobacco. If you smoke around your TV and your computer and stuff, you're gonna get half the life out of it because it shorts everything.
It caramelizes everything.
Yeah, but hairspray was more damaging on the average to computers back in the 70s when everyone had the tall hair, 70s and 80s. Yeah. There was more damage done to computers from hairspray and tobacco than there was from humidity and moisture in the air and that kind of thing.
I still remember the first computers the military taught me to work on. We had these old computers. You know what the drop test is?
What, 8 feet?
No. You go in there. We go in to work on the printer or on the computers. And first you had to do is boot them up because half the time they wouldn't boot.
Yep.
You'd walk in, you'd flip on the switch. If it didn't boot up, you turn the switch off, grab the front edge of the printer, computer, pull it up 4 inches and go.
Yep, we used to do that too.
And then you try again. If that didn't work, you lifted the whole thing up 4 inches and dropped it. If that didn't work, then you started pulling out cards and you tried reseating or taking the eraser to the contacts.
Because when I was in high school, like Apple IIs and the Commodores were still the big computer. The Apple II was just kind of the new thing, but the Commodores and the Amigas were still way more popular than IBM. And when we got into college, IBM became more popular when I was in college, and they became really popular because my roommate got in a bunch of trouble, and his father was the president of Wang Computers. I don't know if you remember Wang Computers, but they were a big IBM computer back in the late 70s, early 80s. So he donated all the computers to the computer lab because his kid did some damage to the school. Anyways, that's what we had to do that with all of those. All the IBMs, the Commodores and the Amigas would fire right up. The Apple IIs would fire right up. All the Wangs and all the IBMs you used to have to pick up and shake.
Well, if you remember, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a long time since I've had my Commodore 64. But the Commodore 64 was one board.
Yeah.
It was all one integrated board, and then you could – what I thought was cool with the Commodore 64 was it was a computer. You had a floppy drive and all this stuff. Yep. But you could also plug in Atari controllers to it. You could plug cartridge games into it like a video game, like an old Nintendo. I'm like, it was the best of both worlds slapped into one thing.
See, the original Apple IIs were like that. They were peripheral heavy. The original Apple IIs and the original Macs, when the Mac first started coming out, they were very peripheral friendly. Like anything, they wanted you to plug shit into it. Now they just want you to buy their stuff. Everything has to be theirs.
I would kill to have my old Commodore 64 back because you could do so much with it.
I remember when Apple came out with SCSI.
Oh, I remember. You remember Unisys?
Why do I remember that? What was that from?
They had the government contract in the early 90s,
right? Yeah.
Because the military wanted to run SCSI. They wanted to run all these different because they wanted to be able to run 10 peripheral devices on one computer.
He was
and Unisys got the desktop contract for the military. They went broke maintaining their warranties. They put them out of business.
Honestly, SCSI'd still be here today if it wasn't so damn slow. Because it'll still have daisy chain, like even USB.
Yeah.
You can daisy chain SCSI all day long. And you can identify every peripheral down the line. Yeah, SCSI was great for daisy chaining. But it had two limitations. One, I mean, it was fast in its day, but in today's terms, it was slow.
Oh, yeah.
And it had a speed limit. You just couldn't go any faster than so many megabytes, period. Not gigabytes, but megabytes.
That was like when I first started looking for ribbon cable for the printer. I was trying to go, I was thinking I'm trying to find it cheap. At one point, I typed in SCSI ribbon cable just to see how cheap I could pick up some old SCSI cables, but I couldn't find anything long enough.
Yeah, well, that's just it. SCSI won't transfer over a certain length. You can daisy chain it all day long, but it has to. I think it was like a foot, and it had to hit a peripheral to repower up.
No, I think you could go like 3 or 4 feet with it, but it was a standard 3-foot cable. I think used to go from device to device.
Yeah, but you had to hit a device after a certain length, or you'd lose signal strength. It was too low powered or too much resistance, or I don't know what it was, but I remember that because I used to have like 8 drives all stacked together, and because my last SCSI drive was the old iAmigas, the iAmiga zip drives.
Yep,
I still have one.
I remember when the LS120 came out. That was the fastest company to go up in stock and the fastest company to plummet in stock.
Yeah.
Because they released that LS120. It looked just like a 1.4 megabyte floppy drive, but it hold 120 megabyte.
Yep.
It was great. Everybody loved it. And they released it, and Gateway Computers and Micron PC, and everybody bought into it, and they were installing it on every single computer they made. And 6 months later, the first thumb drive was created.
Yeah.
And LS went out of business 6 months after that. They lasted about a year.
Well, look at CDs. I mean, writing CDs, that was going to last forever, everyone said, because they were forever.
Yep.
CDs are the best because you can write onto it and it lasts forever.
Till you scratch it.
Gone already.
The problem is they need to put the biggest design problem I've always thought with CDs was why it wasn't sandwiched between the plastic.
It is sandwiched between the plastic.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
The media you're writing to is directly underneath the paint.
No, it's not. It's sandwiched in between the two plastic. Yeah.
Pull out a writable disc sometime and put a light scratch across the top. You'll see right through your disc.
Got them right here.
Yeah. Take one out and scratch the painted side, and you realize you can see right through it.
No, that's no, I know how they work. I actually did a study on them. There's actually 6 layers of material.
Because everybody always worries about scratching.
There's actually 2 layers on a rewritable. There's a chromium oxide and one's aluminum.
Yeah, because everybody always worries about scratching the shiny side.
Paintable, but
yeah, everybody always worries about scratching that shiny side. That's not the side you got to worry about. You can always buff that out. But if you scratch the side with the paint, it's done.
No, it's sandwiched. I know it is.
All the ones I've got aren't. I did it to prove it to somebody one time. I took a razor blade and I just ran a line across it, and then you can see right through it.
Nope. I just put a knife right through the back of it.
You must have better quality ones than we were getting in.
So I might not be getting to the paint, but no, the reading side has layers. You might be right about the back edge. It might actually be on the back edge, but the reading side has layers of polymers.
Yeah.
There's actually 2 layers here that you burn to.
Yeah.
You actually burn out the first layer, and that's how it reads it.
Yeah, but if you scratch the paint side deep enough, you'll ruin the media, and then it won't read it anymore.
Yeah, then all you got to do is paint over the back side of it.
It depends on how deep the scratch goes, but yeah. I've gotten lucky. I've had some of them that I've been lucky enough to place a sticker over the back, and it would read it again. But
I've had CDs and DVDs that are scratched to the point where the laser can't read anymore, and people don't realize they used to have all kinds of fixes and buffs and all kinds of crap. Believe it or not, the best thing to use is the old ultraviolet windshield, rear view mirror glue.
Yeah.
You glue your freaking rear view mirror back up to your windshield. I'm sure you've seen that ultraviolet glue, and it sits in the sun, cures. You pour some of that on there and let it harden and buff it out. Clear as a day again.
I've seen people get lucky doing just clear coat.
Yeah, clear coat. Anything just to make a nice, even, clear finish on it again. Wax. You put a good clear wax on it, you can wax out the scratch.
I saw one guy run. What do you do?
Yes.
2,500, then 4,000 grit sandpaper, and then just hit it with a coat of clear coat, and it read just fine.
Walter agrees. Actually, now he's disagreeing. He's not really sure.
It bobbles pretty good.
Yeah, but it hits. It doesn't. I can go almost full up, but it's hitting. It's not. It's hitting back here on the back of the back.
You got to raise it up more.
Yeah, but if I lower it, if I lower the weight, it hits in the belly. If I raise it anymore, it hits in the back. I need to get something heavier that's smaller so I can have more throw. I mean, it's all right. I could actually live with that. I got to redo the body, obviously. I mean, his arms, I just made little. He looks like a seal. He's got seal arms.
I think
AOL CDs. I used to use not AOL CDs, but I used to use CDs for launch pads too.
I used to use them and CompuServe CDs for coasters because you get them in the mail like every other week.
I know.
I had a complete set of CD coasters. They were all AOL and CompuServe.
Good old AOL. The most famous, you've got mail.
Yes.
People still use that today.
You have mail.
AOL.
It's funny you say that, and my mail thing dings at me.
Yeah. Some people still use AOL, even though it doesn't even exist anymore. My parents I just canceled it like 3 months ago. My parents were still paying $19.95 a month for AOL.
Oh, my goodness.
It doesn't even exist anymore. Time Warner is just stealing money from you.
You didn't turn off your subscription, so we're going to keep billing you.
Yeah, well, I mean, my parents they didn't know. They're old. Me and my brothers are going through all the bills going, okay, we're going to get rid of all the fluff that they don't need anymore. And we saw that AOL bill. We both started laughing. We're like, no freaking way. I didn't even know they could still bill you for that.
Hey, Maker.
It's owned. AOL actually does still exist. But it's owned by Time Warner, and all it is a website now. You can go to AOL.com.
I swear, I've had more people mistype and call me Earl lately, and I still don't know how that happens.
Well, because it autocorrects. I've done that a couple times.
It changes Carl to Earl?
Yeah, because Carl doesn't, with a K, doesn't compute. It's misspelling it. I don't know if it was Earl, but it replaced it with Kale or something. I don't know. That's why I just call you Knack, and then it makes naked.
Yeah, hopefully my printer's not bleeding through the stream too bad.
Really all I got to do is fix his arms.
Fix what?
His arms. Because his lower body, I got his pants around his ankles and everything. Really his arms, and I think I'm not even gonna make him arms. I think I'm just gonna bubble him out on the body and have him like his hands on his knees. So that's really all I have to do. I need to figure out a better pivot too, because the way I did this, it's just a piece of coat hanger I bent around. He doesn't like it either. See, no, I don't like it. That coat hanger.
What did Country say about that when he saw himself sitting on the toilet?
He didn't, it was weird. He didn't really say much. He laughed and thought it was cute, and he's like, "Oh, I want that for Irv or for Murph. I want to get him on that, but I don't want him. You know what I mean? I want it to become a surprise.
Yeah,
Murph. So I want to like mail it to someone like you who'll like just put it on their desk.
Walk away, away and sneak it back there.
Yeah, just not even give it to him or anything. Just like put it on your table, and have it sitting there, and have he'll walk around at some point and go, "What the hell?"
wait till he comes to do the interview.
Yeah. Yeah, Walter. I already did an interview with this Walter. Yeah.
I could see it having to sit on the belt. So Carl, what do you think? I don't know. Well, what's Walter think about that? Is it a good idea? Yeah. Is my printer the best thing since sliced bread? Yes. Am I full of it? Yes.
Do I like whacking you in the head? Yes.
I like how I don't know who said it. Someone made a suggestion when I said I wasn't bringing Star-Lord, that I needed to just take the whole costume and wait till I saw Walter coming my way to do the interview and put the Star-Lord costume on and sit there and just not say anything.
That would be kind of funny. If you could pull that off where he thinks it's the mannequin again. Have you come out and shake his hand or something, he'd be like,
oh, I was very tempted. A bunch of people tried to convince me to do it on Sunday at Earth, and I should have done it. But you were trying to convince me that I needed to get in there early, tear the mannequin down, and put the costume on and just stand in the exact same spot and wait to see how long it would take someone to walk up and just, ha! I wanted to get Walter with it so bad. I was like, if I would have had time to keep him away from it, to switch into the costume, and then get Regina to go, you need to do that interview you told Carl you do with Star-Lord. And we're going to come up and do his first question, nothing. His second question, nothing. And wait for him to do his little, well, F you for not talking to me. And then just walk over and grab the mic and go, well, let me tell you how we're going to do this. The reason I didn't answer questions was because, well, they were stupid. Let me do the interview, and then it'll be great.
Yeah. I just want to screw with him on that.
That was the whole reason I did the one video. Did you ever see the reply video I did to his interview?
I think so. I don't remember.
I basically pulled that whole line from the movie. What was it? Avengers Endgame or whatever it was, where Star-Lord tells Tony Stark, I like your idea, but it sucks. Why don't you let me make the plan and then it'll work good or something like that. And I had a little mini speaker hidden back there behind him, and I got all done doing my little thing. I said, so what do you think of that plan for this video? And he basically did that whole thing, and I'm like, you wouldn't talk for Walter, and right now I wish he'd have kept his mouth shut.
Yeah, that was good. Team Walter agrees.
But yeah,
Flappy Bird working too.
What's that?
I gotta get the Flappy Bird all working.
Yeah,
I got it actually. I just gotta restring this one. This thing flows really nice now.
Sweet. What's that printed out of?
This is CC 3D copper silk.
That looks nice.
Yeah, it is nice. It's very nice. And I've got the whole hinge working beautifully now. And all the hinges, instead of just doing print, I actually have inside the core is a piece of old PTFE tube. And then a piece of filament slides in and locks it all together.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah, it should work now. I got the weights balanced to the point where I can pre-do the holes as long as you print it the way, with a certain, because the wings have to be really heavy for it to work.
Yeah.
They're almost solid, where this is all hollow. That way the wing has more weight and makes it flat. You must have seen the video I had of the blue one.
Probably.
I got the blue one sort of working, but it just goes flat. There's not enough weight on the wing, so it doesn't go up and down and up and down.
It doesn't want to just keep going forever.
Yeah. I mean, it'll only do it like 2 or 3 times, but it just kind of goes flat, and then stops. Not only that, one of the wing hinges is binding, so it's like this. So it's like flat, and the body's all crooked. So I think I got it figured out to the point where I'm trying to get Hawk to print one. And then I think I might release the files. It's close enough where it should work. And it's gooped. And this just snaps off and snaps on. So you can
okay. Wow, you broke it already.
No, I got it deliberately that way because the hinges are a little piece of filament stuck in there.
Okay.
Grab it and replace it every once in a while.
That's your access point?
Yep. Otherwise, you can't get to it with the tail in the way. Yeah, it should work. Came out pretty good. You can see my PTA or my PEI beds all screwed up.
Did you sign up for the startup?
Startup what?
The thing for Ken. Hold on. I can't remember anything today.
No, cool what you're talking about.
Kickstarter for the PEI sheets with
no.
Ken Cobb.
No.
Can't afford it. The early bird special was pretty good. I went ahead.
Yeah, no, but it's still I make my own as it is.
Yeah, I saw $60 for their powder coated sheets, and I'm like, and it's one big enough to put on the CRX, which right now I'm running a mirror because I bought it with a broken glass bed. So
do the same thing I did. Just put the magnets under it and get a piece of freaking steel from Lowe's or Home Depot and slap it on there.
I don't mind helping someone get going if they can.
No, I wouldn't think twice. I was thinking about that BAM tack one or whatever too. I don't have the kind of money to waste on it right now. Mine works.
So the update on that piece that Mike printed with the belt printer. It was 8 feet long in spiral mode with a 0.6 nozzle, and it took him 7 hours, but he had it running slow. So less than an hour a foot.
Creamer and Matt Seals, you can 3D follow you. I think I got more followers on Twitter than I do on YouTube now.
I hardly have any YouTube followers. I wish I had as many followers on YouTube as I have on Twitter.
What do I have on Twitter now?
I kind of want to make a post on Twitter and go, hey, all of my followers, why aren't you following my YouTube or subscribe to my YouTube channel?
I got 129 on Twitter, and I just hit 200 on here.
On YouTube, let's see, what am I at now?
Oh, we got 2 good TV shows tonight to watch. Well, one internet show.
I have 169 subscribers on YouTube.
Oh, so you're almost up there with me. I just hit 200.
But I have home. I have 450 followers on Twitter. I had 397 before I did the mini reveal at Printed Solid. So in 2 weeks, I've gained 53 followers on Twitter.
I get like 2 or 3 a day on Twitter.
Yeah, the
one or 2 a week on YouTube, maybe.
Oh, the Star Wars video, the Star Wars belt teaser video, that got me all sorts of people.
Yeah, that was cute. That was cute, actually.
I said I figured out the secret. I mixed Star Wars with 3D printing. Apparently, I need to print a lightsaber with it.
Yeah, but don't use the theme song or anything. Disney is freaking wicked about going after people.
Well, that was why I put it on Twitter and it's on Facebook, but I never published it on YouTube. I didn't put it anywhere I can make money with it.
Yeah, Facebook will nail you too if they get wind of it.
Really?
Yeah, Facebook is.
It's only, I forget how long it was. It was only like 15 or 20 seconds, but
yeah.
I deliberately made sure I did not use the whole song.
I don't know if you were here the other night. I was explaining it. Back when I first started YouTube, the whole record company was just starting their whole barrage on blocking everyone and getting everyone in trouble for using music. So, and we all started bitching. So, back when I first started doing YouTube, if you look at some of my old mountain bike, if you look up Tom Llama, you'll get all my old mountain biking and some of my quadcopter videos from way back. We're talking like, I don't know, 2000. Anyways, they started doing an agreement with the record companies where you could go on and you could sign this release form, and there were 3 requirements to use certain music. And only some of the record companies fought it anyways, but most of the record companies were on board, and it made sense. 1, you had to list it in the thing, what it was. You know, beginning in the first like 30 seconds or something, you had to list the song, you had to put the song name, you had to put the artist name, and the record label on it. In other words, the point was they could go find it.
Yeah.
Someone says, hey, that's a cool tune. You couldn't make any money off of it. You could not monetize your channel if you were doing that. And the third thing is it couldn't be more than like 20 seconds long, or you could use up to the full song, but you had to have background noise in it so it wasn't quality where someone could steal it and clean it and, you know, burn a CD or whatever. So like my quadcopters, I always like had my quadcopter motors in the background noise, so it wasn't, you know, pleasant. And like in the mountain bike ones, I'd always either be talking or I'd have the chain whip going in it or made it really short. And then they didn't fight you. They're like, okay, it's free advertising. As long as you follow those 3 things, you know, you weren't stealing their music. You were actually advertising for them.
Yeah.
You know, someone goes, oh, yeah, I like that song. I'm going to go buy it. Hey, there it is listed. Where to go? I mean, I used to put right in the you know, in the titles where you could, you know, go to, here's the song, you go to AOL or I mean, you go to Amazon or you go to iTunes or you go to, you know, Google, whatever, and buy the song. I mean, I just don't get why they stopped doing that. That's free freaking advertising for them.
Well, I don't know what it costs now. I used to work when I was younger. I used to work at a lot of skating rinks, and I would, you know, a lot of time I'd part time in as the DJ. And it used to be you could sign up for subscription services, and it was something like BMG, but it's not. There's 3 companies that sell royalties, so you can play music to make a profit. Like if you can play a radio in a skating rink without being illegal as long as you don't pipe it to more than 4 speakers. If you pipe it to more than 4 speakers, then it's illegal to use a radio because you're making a profit with a radio. But like to just throw CDs in, you have to have the license that you paid for to use that CD technically. It was like $300 or $400 for a 1-year subscription. They would just keep sending you basically the same CDs that DJs get.
Yeah.
And you could play it at the rink. I'm like, it almost made, if I was a YouTuber and you could still subscribe for that cheap and I was doing YouTube all the time in videos, I'd go ahead and subscribe to that again so I could play any music I wanted on a video. Because if YouTube goes, oh, copyright infringement, wrong. I have a subscription to this service. I am allowed to use that song. And
well,
they can't do anything about it.
You know, you can sign up for a music subscription through YouTube.
Can you?
Yeah. But it's like 10 grand.
Oh, wow.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it used to be really cheap for the Rank subscriptions. It was like like $300 or $500 a year to get those CDs.
Yeah. It just, you know, and they're putting all these laws in, and all it's helping is the rich get richer.
Yeah.
Doesn't help the artist. Most artists don't give a crap nowadays.
A lot of the artists these days post the songs for free to get started.
Yep, they go on SoundCloud or I love listening to which is kind of funny, but I love listening to Two Cellos. I don't know if you ever heard of
them. I love their Metallica.
Oh, they've done a few that. I mean, I love that stuff, but they make every. I mean, I was never a heavy metal person, but they make their heavy metal songs sound good.
Yeah.
And their videos are great, but they put every single concert on YouTube live. You can watch it anytime you want. You can also buy the music. But they did their own record company. There is no record company. It's just them. If you want to buy the music, you can go to iTunes or Amazon or Google Play or wherever and buy the song. But anytime you want to listen to one of their songs, you can just go on YouTube and watch the video, and the song comes through, and they do it at like high quality audio and everything. They don't care. It's like if you want to be an idiot and steal it, go ahead. We're not, you know, if you want to steal it that badly, you're gonna figure out how to do it anyways. Why fight it? Why you're spending more money fighting it?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, that's one of the things I like about the 3D printing community. It's like, you know, it's the exact opposite of the music industry. No, we want everything out there for free to everybody so it gets better. That's what the whole reason, like a lot of people think I'm nuts for publishing all the files for the printer.
3D printing community. There's quite a lot in the 3D printing community that's not as in Simplify 3D.
But there's a whole lot more of all the industries I've seen. There's a whole lot more open source in 3D printing than anything else I've seen.
Open source it's not going to last much longer though. I have a feeling you're going to start seeing more and more closed source stuff.
I think the first company that figures out how to make it to where you can just go grab a roll of filament, stick it in there, and say, I want to print this object, and the printer does it all. You know, the replicator. That company's going to lock their stuff down.
You're going to have to.
The problem is they'll have to totally re-engineer their whole control software, because if they use Marlin, they'll be trapped in open source. If they use Cura, they'll be trapped in open source. They'll have to make their own software and their own.
You're not trapped in open source in Cura. Ultimaker is not open sourced. You can have closed source. You can buy a license from Ultimaker for Cura and have a closed sourced printer.
Really? Yeah. I didn't think you could, because that was one of the reasons why I like the fact that I can use Black Belt's Cura version, because it's free for the public because it's open source.
You can use the Cura. You can use the Cura.
No, I download Black Belts.
The slicer can still be open source, but you can. Ultimaker will allow you to attach Cura to your closed sourced hardware, closed sourced hardware with a license. In other words, if you distribute your closed sourced hardware with their software, you have to pay them for that privilege.
Wow. I kind of wonder why Black Belt didn't lock it down then.
Because you can't lock down the Cura. You can lock down your hardware. You can't lock down Cura.
Well, they don't even have their.
If you're gonna use Cura on your lockdown hardware, you have to pay Ultimaker to do so.
Okay.
That's understand anyways. The Cura and anything you do with Cura will still be open source. Even if you alter Cura, your alterations to Cura are still open sourced, but your hardware can be closed sourced, and you can distribute it with your closed source hardware. It's just your slicer has to be open. Your firmware can be closed if you're using the slicer, but the slicer can't be. That's what I understand it. That's the way I read it. Because that's the way the Ultimakers are in open source.
I like this. Apple doesn't pay Unix. They stole their OS. Yeah, the same way Windows stole it from Xerox.
So did Apple.
Yeah.
You realize Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and all those guys
they started together. Well, they started in the same garage.
Well, no, they all went to Xerox at the same time. When both Apple and Windows toward Xerox, looked at that interface when Xerox was bailing on it. You realize Xerox is bailing on it, saying we don't think it's stupid, no one's ever going to use it. Here, you want to check it out? You do something? Xerox gave it to them both.
Yeah, Steve Jobs worked for Bill Gates originally. Then he broke off and created Apple. No. Well, they were partners, I think, originally, and then
they started talking when they both went to Xerox, and then they had disagreements on hardware.
Yeah,
it never really worked together. They communicated, and they communicated still. They were never really like enemies.
No,
competitors, because they were always coexisting on like. There was multiple times that a lot of the Apple software would work on a Windows machine, and I mean, think about Office. Office always worked on a Mac. You could always get Microsoft Office on a Mac. They didn't fight. They just
the thing was, Bill Gates was like, let's write software that'll work on an IBM compatible PC, and we'll just make Windows work with it. When Steve Jobs was like, no, we need to make the hardware work for our software. That's why he tried to write the Apple to be more compatible with it.
Apple originally started out to be the cream of the crop, ahead of the curve. Now they're just the opposite. It's kind of funny. Their OS was originally designed to work with top-of-the-line hardware. Apple wanted the latest, greatest, groundbreaking hardware. And their OS was to run on it and be very universal. That's what they originally started out for. Now it's just the opposite. Now their OS is groundbreaking. I don't care what anyone says. I've used them both. Mac OS is far, far, far superior to Windows.
Definitely more stable.
Sucks. The hardware is by and far the worst. It's so.
I used to have a Windows phone. Now I have an Apple. And I used to say, anybody wants proof as to which is the more stable operating system? So I used to have to reboot my phone almost once a day when I had a Windows phone. I can go a month without powering off this iPhone.
Yeah. But the Google, the Chrome books and Chrome, that lasts just as well as the Apple does. I've had both phones. I stuck with an Apple phone, not because it's any better, but because I use all Macs. It just integrates better. Windows phones were terrible. Oh my God, they should have never been. Droids are not bad. There's really not much of a difference between an iPhone and a Droid.
My daughter seems to have more technical glitches with her Android than I have with my iPhone.
Yeah. But again, it's the same reason that Windows sucks is there's no stability. And what makes Apple good and the reason their hardware is locked is the positive side of it. Not necessarily it's a positive thing, but because it's a locked hardware format, they can write specifically for that, and there's never any issues because there's, the half a dozen machines that it can run on. That's it.
Yep.
So, they can test everything up to yin-yang. There's no way somebody's going to get an Apple and have some different hardware than theirs because that's all it'll run on.
Yep.
I mean, now there's Hackintosh, but
someone's not going to put some high-end video card in there and then it causes I/O errors. It doesn't work.
Where Windows has to write their stuff for literally millions of pieces of hardware, and it's just impossible. You're always going to have conflicts between hardware.
I had a printer I built one time. It took me 2 years. It took me 2 years to get the sound and the video and because I had this frame capture card and everything else. It took me 2 years of playing with IRQ requests and everything else to get it to where I could have every single feature in that computer work. Because if I turned on the sound card at the same time, it would crash. It would freeze the monitor because something would steal a request. And it took me forever to get that thing dialed into where it didn't conflict.
Exactly. And that's why Mac OS is more stable. It's not actually if they went open source hardware wise, like Windows is not open.
Oh, it would.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they went open market and let other people do it, they'd start having way more problems. There's no question about it. Their stability is that their hardware is so locked down, which is a good thing for someone like me. I don't want to play with the hardware. I want to freaking turn the thing on and want it to do what I wanted to do. Now, I would wish they'd stop making them so the basics can't be upgraded. It's stupid to make it so I can't replace my hard drive. I can't replace my RAM. The general.
The part I hate the most is that, and it's what all the companies have gone away from, where I can't just pop the battery out and put a new battery in.
Yeah, that's pissing me off.
That fact that I paid. Luckily, Apple got sued by that one person, so it only cost me $50 to have them put the new battery in this one when it went bad. But
on the other side is their batteries actually outlast. They bought them shitty Sony batteries that were a problem.
Yeah,
this is an iPhone 5. I've had this thing forever.
This is the 6.
My battery's fine. I shouldn't say my battery's fine. It used to last 3 or 4 days, and now it maybe lasts a day if I unplug it.
Yeah, mine got to the point where it was going dead within 2 hours, and you look down and say you had 90%.
What do you get? iPhone 6 or 7 with the Sony crappy batteries?
Yeah, you look down and say, "Oh, you got 90% battery," and you'd make a phone. I'd start surfing the web or something, and it would shut off, and it's like, "But I had 90%."
Yeah, this does that now on occasion. I'll start using it, and I'll be at 90%, and I'm not even doing anything. I'm like using a calculator or something, and then I'll look at it, I'll be like at 20%. And then I'll turn it off and start it up again, it'll be back up to like 80.
Yep.
But this thing it's an iPhone 5S. I mean, whatever they know.
Yeah, I think I've had this one for 3 years now. I'm trying to make it to 4 before I go ahead and go with whatever the new iPhone will be at that time. But now I'm a straight talk, so I have to pay for the phone outright.
They already are dropping the price. I only paid $50 for this. The one thing I've learned about, and not just Apple, any of them, Apple, Samsung, Sony, whatever, don't buy this year's model.
No, you buy the last year's model.
You actually buy 2 years ago's model. When the iPhone 7 came out, I bought my iPhone 5S for $50, brand new. $50. I got this far because the iPhone 7 had just come out.
Yeah, I figure whenever they come out the 11 or the 12, then I'll either buy the 8 or the 10.
Yeah. Well, they're already dropping the price of the 8. I hear the 8 dropped like $200 or $300.
Yeah. The problem is they keep making them bigger. I have a hard enough time holding this thing in my hand and touching everything. I don't need anything any bigger.
The one thing I've really noticed with these smartphones, they do everything so well, except for actually be a freaking phone. Their phones are terrible. They are the worst phone ever. I don't even want this thing anymore. I want my own damn Razor back. That was the best cell phone ever. The thing just received. It worked. I got a signal anywhere.
What was the little Nokia that had the snake game on it? You remember which one I'm talking about?
No.
I think it was called Nibbler, if I remember right. It was shaped.
All the Nokias had games on them.
Let me see if I can. Let's see. Let me see if I can't just find it.
All the
if I find it.
On them. I still have a Razor around here I wanted to repair. Motorola's coming out with a Razor again.
The Nokia 3310.
Don't remember.
If I can bring the picture up here.
You realize Motorola's bringing out the Razor again.
I heard.
You're going to get $1,000 for it. It's going to be a flip open smartphone. It's basically going to be an iPhone or a Droid or whatever they're going to use, but it's going to be a flip open screen that you can have a keyboard on or touch screen. Yeah, I had one of those Pantex. It lasted me about a week, and I broke that freaking keyboard right off. Took it right back. Said that thing's too flimsy. That's funny too, because when I was going through phone, I used to go through a phone like every other month when I was working for the big corporation out on Long Island. And, I do construction and things on me and I'm using them all day long and they were flimsy. Motorola came out with what they used to call the brick. And it was a military grade phone. It was like $500 even back then. It was ridiculously expensive. My company was paying for my phones at the time. They bought me one of those bricks, and that thing was awesome.
But this was the phone they issued us. They issued us these when we were in Italy and Greece for work phones. You couldn't break these things. You could chuck one across a parking lot. It would bounce, and you could pick it up and make a phone call.
That's basically the same model that Sprint used to use because they used to have that push-to-talk BS walkie-talkie crap. That used to be annoying. I'll tell you what, my razors were the best ones. I broke that brick. It lasted 6 months. It didn't last me a month. I got a razor. Everyone's like, "You're gonna break that razor." I'm like, "How? It's metal." They weren't plastic. They were full metal cases. The original razors. My razors would last me years. Years. Everything else would last me a month or two. For one, they were so small I could put them in my pocket, and you're not crushing it. All the rest of them were so, like the Nokias. They were so big that you couldn't really put it in your pocket, so you're always, had to clip on your side. When you do construction, you can't have stuff dangling off you. It's going to get whacked on something.
Yeah, we've still working for Delaware. We still have those stupid little flip phones. We get these contractors that'll send us these long text messages. I just look at her and you go, "Hey, can you come out and inspect these forms tomorrow at 10 o'clock? What do you think? Blah, 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 blah." I just go, K, letter K, and hit send. Or a Y and hit send. He goes, "What, you're too busy to send me more than one letter answer?" I pulled my phone out. I said, "You want to reply back to a text more than one letter when you have to do 222 444 317 999? No, I'm not doing that." We keep begging and pleading for smartphones because contractors are like, "Dude, text me this or send me that," or someone goes, "Hey, can you take pictures of this?" You know, how hard is it to take a picture with one of them stupid little flip phones and then send it to somebody? It's not worth the headache.
That's the other thing I liked about the Razor. I used to do it with my Razor all the time. I used to take pictures and email them and text them all the time.
Yeah, I've told all my contractors, I said, "You will get a one-letter response. It's going to be a Y, a K, or an N." Yes, no, or okay. I'm not typing you more than that.
That and the push-to-talk. Everyone had those Sprint push-to-talk things forever.
Oh, God.
God, I hated those things.
We were using those at Advance when I left because they started doing these fleet drivers and they got us push-to-talk. So basically, it'll be like walkie-talkies.
Right.
Talk to all the drivers.
For it. That was the big thing is you didn't have to pay for the time.
Yeah.
It was the push-to-talk. It was direct connect. But they came out after a year or two. They came out with the call where you could push to talk, and if someone didn't respond, you could push it and hold it, and it would freaking chirp their phone constantly until you. Well, when you're up on a 20-foot freaking ladder dangling off a stage and hanging siding, the last thing you want is that to go chirp, 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 chirp. Can't tell you how many of those I broke. Not because I broke them, because I freaking took them off my belt and chucked them.
Well, that's the one thing I think we still have messed up here in the United States that Europe has right.
What?
All cellular service in Europe, you only pay for the calls you place, not the ones you receive.
Yes.
So some jerk keeps calling you. It's on his dime. Okay, you want to call and talk to me for 2 hours? Great. Telemarketer wants to call and talk to you, whatever. That's the bad thing. Those telemarketers are allowed to call cell phones legally because it's costing the person placing the call, not the person receiving it.
Yeah, well, because the other thing is supposedly now they're going to make that. They're talking about doing that here in the States.
They need to because
the cell phone can charge the landline phone company, which will stop that.
Well, I mean, I wish they would do that because that's the only thing that's going to stop all these telemarketers that keep spoofing phone numbers to illegally call cell phones to telemarket.
Oh, it's not even a telemarket; it's the scammers that call you and tell you, "Oh, yeah, your taxes now," or we need a credit card number and your taxes are due. And they've tried to do that to my parents. I get him on the phone. I'm like, no problem. Yep, sure. No, I'm gonna bring you cash. Where are you? I'll bring it to you right now. Well, we're done. Well, I'll drive down there and I'll bring it to you. Where are you? Oh, well, we can't have that. Well, then I guess you're not part of the IRS, are you? The IRS would be more than happy to take my cash.
Yeah, we get them every once in a while. We'll just start messing. We mess with them bad anymore because they call our state phones. At first, we were like, look, this is a state phone. No personal business is conducted on this. Please take us off your call list. And then they start calling us every day. So now we're answering like, oh, hello, my friend. What can I do for you today?
My boss used to do that. Hong Kong restaurant. What would you like?
Or you'll get this, hi, we're calling about your vehicle's warranty. It's about to expire. Okay. What's the year, make, and model of your vehicle? Well, you just told me warranty's about to expire. You tell me what I've got.
Yeah.
Or they call, hey, would you be interested? Sure, I'll take a warranty on my car. What do you got? A 94 Dodge pickup truck? Click, because they don't want to warranty something that old.
Yeah. The other one that my boss started pulling, which was really cracking me up the first time I heard him do it too. He knew it was a scammer because the number came up and it'd been listed or something, so he knew who it was. It was some kind of scammy, we're gonna steal your money type of deal, and they're gonna want your Social Security number. So he answers the phone. Local fraud alert or federal fraud alert. How can I help you? Yeah, I think it was federal fraud alert. How can I help you? And they were like, click, never called back.
I used to answer all mine, and every once in a while I'll do it, and they'll hang up immediately. I kind of think it works better for getting put on their do not call list. Is people, thank you for calling Domino's Pizza. Can you please hold? And you hit mute, and then you wait like 10 seconds. Thank you for holding. Can I introduce our 2 large 1-topping pizzas and a 2-liter of Pepsi for only $19.99?
It's even funnier. I used to on my home phone. I got my home phone over there. You can't see it, but anyways, I don't really use it for anything. I don't know why I have it. I should probably get rid of it. But anyways, I was getting all the political BS forever.
Oh,
and then the scams, and I mean, if I get 1 call a month on it that I actually want to talk to somebody, that's a lot. So my answering machine, anybody that calls it, anyone that has that number knows I have on my answering machine. When the answering machine picks up, it goes dee. We're sorry, this number's been disconnected.
I got a call from the Democratic Party during the Trump election.
Oh God!
And I was like,
either one of them.
It was one of the recordings. I called back, and I'm like, and of course, first time you call back, you get bumped to you can't get a person. So I took the time and I searched and I found the office that called me, and I called them. I said, and I was like, look, 1, my number was on the do not call registry. I know that thing doesn't exist anymore, but it was on there. 2, I'm a Republican. Don't call me.
Doesn't matter. That's the one thing about that do not call list. 911 can call you. Emergency services can call you. Around here we have, because I got the nuclear power plant like 4 miles that way. So we have a nuclear warning system. They can always call you, and politicians can call you even if you're on a do not call list. You can't block the politicians.
Yeah.
They can't allow that.
I still think they need to go back to it. I said when they first had cell phones, it was illegal for any telemarketer to call a cell phone number because it was costing the person you're calling money.
Right.
I think it should be the same way for government. Oh, you're going to call me and bug me during an election? I don't have unlimited, everybody's got unlimited, but you want to go, look, I don't have unlimited. I'm sending you the bill for the 3 minutes of my time you just wasted.
Oh, that was like Seinfeld. Did you ever see the Seinfeld episode where he took that guy on?
No.
And he was very polite, and he goes, oh, really? What's your phone number? Can I call you back? I'm real busy. I'll call you back at 8 o'clock when you're having dinner and disturb you. And, did this whole spiel about, screw you, I'll call you when you're doing stuff so I can annoy you. Yep. It was great. It was like one of the best Seinfeld episodes ever. That guy. Have you seen that video of that guy from Tech Talk about the spam emails? There's a guy on Tech Talk You ever watch Tech Talks on occasion?
Nah.
But, well, this one's worth watching, dude. I'll have to find you a link and send it to you. He's a comedian, but he talks about how to get the spammers. And what he does is he actually responds to these spammers, and it goes on and on and on.
Oh, I have seen that one. I have seen that.
He goes on about how he wants his bank account and how he really, I'll start the bank account, but what about my toaster? I want my toaster. The bank says I get a toaster if I start this account.
Yeah.
Like, no, sir, there's no toaster with your account. Please just deposit the money.
That's one of my favorite ones. That video, and I know it's not the same guy, but the guy that made the glitter bomb for the package thieves.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite videos.
Everyone keeps going, that's a fraud, and you know what? I don't care. It's still hilarious.
It irks me to no end that the cops with video evidence would not work.
Dude, that's fraud.
I'm like, you got to go.
Happen.
You got to wonder if he.
Faked.
What's that?
A fake video. That's a fake video. That never happened.
Really?
Yeah. It's just made up, but it's still funny as hell. I mean, think about it. Would you? For one, who would give him back his phones?
No, he was
that thing and
throwing their box out the window.
Pop it open and all that glitter pops out, and there's 4 phones sitting there.
You can't see them; they're covered.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, they were. There was a complete enclosure that covered them.
Yeah. So what would you do with that thing then?
Well, that was the reason they put the stink bomb in.
Yeah. What would you do with it?
I'd toss it out the window as fast as I could, which was what somebody did.
Common sense. Granted, anyone that's doing that's a dumbass, anyways. But I'd probably take it out and stomp the crap out of the thing, just for being pissed off at it.
Well, you think about it though. Even if they did,
if someone's rigging a unit like that, they're tracing it. So you've got to destroy it to stop the trace.
Well, the thing is that the damage was already done though, because all of it was streaming live to the cloud, GPS location and video the entire time.
He's still not going to get it back. Was my point.
No, but I would have
made sure he would not.
I would have been like, I would want to go to the cops immediately and go like, look, here's the GPS trail and here's the video. You got a clear shot of this guy's face the minute he opens the package, and I can tell you where his house is because he took it home.
Well, I'd be like, I don't care what he says. Cops would go after that when it's that. That was made up. There was somebody that went on YouTube and proved that he made it all up. But it's still funny as hell. I don't care. It's still a brilliant idea, and it's still funny as hell.
Oh, yeah. My next invention, a Band-Aid that doesn't fray.
A what?
A Band-Aid that doesn't fray. Yeah. To anybody who builds my belt printer, when you're working with the stainless steel belt, put on gloves. I've sliced my fingers open more times on those darn stainless belts.
Well, dumbass.
I was like, I got the new ones, and I got this new full hard stainless belt. I'm like, okay, I got to be careful opening because I know it's like spring steel. It's gonna fly open when I untape it. So I got it laid out on the kitchen table. I'm letting the bubble wrap on. I've got it pinned down so the metal can't flop too far. I'm being real careful peeling the tape off. I didn't keep a good enough grip on it. I pulled the last piece of tape off and expecting it to flop this way. No, it goes to uncoil and the metal jams my thumb. I'm like, son of a... I was like, it got me again.
I've done so much of that because we use aluminum flashing all the time. Does the same thing. And it's just as sharp. I don't care what anyone says. It's still just as sharp. Put a freaking rubber band around it, dumbass, before you even slice it open.
Yeah.
Or the other thing, if we don't have a rubber band, we used to take duct tape and you make a bigger band and it's on, it's coil. And that way, when you slice it and it expands, it just expands to the duct tape tube. Or a tube, or a board, or a box. I used to open it up inside of a box. That way, it can just uncoil inside the box.
Yeah, what I'm going to do this time is I got one of those little collapsible folding tables. When I used it when I put the last belt on. I said, when I go to unwrap it this next time, I'm literally going to set it down on that table. I'm going to pinch it down nice and tight. I'm going to cut the tape with a razor knife, and I'm going to go. I'm just going to let it flop out on the table and go, okay, now I can work with it.
Whenever you get a coil like that, you stand it up on end. You don't lay it flat and let it unroll. You stand it up on end, slice it, and that way it just expands. And it stays standing up.
Yeah, it's going to still want to go completely straight.
Yeah, but it unrolls controllably. Because the floor, whatever you got it sitting on, actually acts as a resistor, so it can't just flop open as fast. Still flops open, it's not as fast.
The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the auto parts store and I'm going to buy a new pair of mechanics gloves before I touch it.
I hate mechanics gloves. Hate them things. Hate them. I like the neoprene ones better. They're like
really?
Not hospital grade ones, but the work gloves, but they're like a fabric on the back because they still have touch feel. I can't.
Actually, I have a pair of gloves
inside. They drive me nuts.
I have a pair of gloves. I gotta see if I can find them. They're the ones they tell you that you can run the knife across and it won't cut, and they're the rubber tactile grip on the front. I've got a pair of those somewhere. I need to see if I can find them. Those would be perfect for working with that.
Of glove, you could use one of those too. Those are the like silicone-y ones.
Yeah.
Of glove.
I got one of those upstairs.
That'll do it.
I use those. My mom used to sell Pampered Chef.
We're a hot mitt.
And my mom used to sell Pampered Chef, so you do all those. I have a bunch of those cooking stones that she gave me.
Lexon,
you got to have an of glove to lift those things up.
Of glove. Yeah, dude, what colors you got down there? I keep seeing that polyalchemy. You're gonna have to. I'll pay for the shipping if you just ship me.
I've got. Let's see. Let me see what I got. Full spools of over here. The Merlot's out because I don't have one over here. So
no, I already got the Merlot.
I've got the. Let's see. I've got the crimson, the bubble gum, the copper, the orange, the gold, the aquamarine.
I have the aquamarine.
The onyx.
I don't have the onyx.
Purple rain.
I have purple rain. It's that lavendery one.
Night sky.
I have night sky. Hold on,
the last two rolls you can't have because they're this one, I keep waiting to find something I want to use this on. I begged and pleaded with the alchemist to make me a transition roll.
Ooh.
It's Merlot to gold.
That would be cool.
But it's a full 700 or
and it's just
750 grams in one transition. I'm like, what am I going to print?
Yeah.
I got to print something huge with it.
I'll take the bubble gum and the orange.
And then he sent me this roll, which is a off-color pigment. It's the purple rain, but the pigment color is not right. It's darker.
That would actually be good. I think the purple rain's too late. I mean, I should say it's nice. It doesn't stand out like the darker ones do.
Yeah.
I think that bubble gum would be cool. But I think the orange might be all right.
What's that?
That orange. I just think the bubble gum would be cool.
The bubble gum, the pink. You see, I think I got a whole. Yeah, I got a full spool of it over here still.
Yeah, it's not a big popular color either.
The only person I print anything for it with is Heather.
Yeah.
My daughter doesn't like pink anymore, so she doesn't want it.
I just think it would be something different. It's a color I don't have, you know. I don't have that much orange anymore. I started out with all orange, and I think I got one roll of orange now. That's it's actually PETG. I don't even think. Actually, I do. I have a half roll of Maker Geeks left.
Michael Castle's trying to convince me to print an Iron Man bust with it. What I actually want to print. Let me see if I can find the picture.
Actually, the Iron Man bust would look good in the Merlot. It's about the right color.
Oh yeah. I want to do I want to do a multicolor Iron Man with Merlot and gold.
Yeah.
Because I think it would look awesome, but I got to get to where I can use my palette.
Put the palette on the belt printer.
Yeah.
That would be freaking sweet. There's where you could use that transition roll. Just do a big long transitional like broomstick.
Let me see if I can find a good picture. Because somebody actually made this Goku model. All I have to do is make a Kamehameha wave for it.
Oh, I see what he's saying. He's do the Iron Man bust with that transitional roll.
Yeah, that's what he's thinking I should use it for.
It would almost look cool. Make it look like it's, you know, like in the first one when he says, "Oh, paint it," you know, hot rod red, and he starts building it. And it's all basically gold and silver to start with, and then they paint it red. So it would look like it's half painted. Are you the only one still in here, Michael? You might want to chat. I don't think there's anyone else even. Oh, there's a whole 4 people still watching. Is there anything else running tonight? I was only going to do this for an hour, and it's been going for 2 now. I wasn't even going to go.
I was thinking of printing a Goku. If you can see what's on my screen here, I was thinking of printing a Goku like that in the transition going from the red, since he's got the yellow hair in his Super Saiyan mode. Do the Goku and then take and use the aquamarine or the natural. Probably end up taking a natural and print a Kamehameha wave coming out and light it with LEDs. So it'd be him all shiny and red and yellow, and then this bright blue Kamehameha wave out in front of him. Sure. I think if I did that big enough, I could use that whole 750.
Doesn't somebody do something tonight, like the Friday night thing or something?
It was the European stream, so it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I did watch that. I thought the other one did something tonight too. Doesn't
no? They
those guys do it. Doesn't the first layer do
What's that?
Doesn't the first layer do theirs tonight?
Let's see. Subscriptions.
I know somebody usually does Friday night.
I don't have anything scheduled yet.
I don't either. Which is odd. I don't think Tom likes me anymore. Tom Sandlander. Because he likes things Slic 3R. And
that's what I call it too. Because you're talking about slicers and then you talk about slicer. It's like, no, I call it Slic 3R.
You'll always know the difference because you'll never say, the way you say it's like I use slicer. You're going to know it's slicer, not a slicer. Whenever you use it as,
when you're talking with a noob, they don't catch that difference.
No, but I mean, I really don't care. I just asked the dude. You realize, did you see that on Twitter? I actually found the guy who wrote Slic 3R Slicer.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, how do you pronounce it? He goes, Slicer. It's Slicer. It's pronounced Slicer.
That's like, I mean, I could see him doing something the same thing. Did you see the roast of Bruce Willis?
I think I did.
I like the very end speech he does. He gets all up there and he goes through everything. He goes, all right, last thing before I let you all go, I got to set the record straight. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I did see that. But it is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, no one agrees with him on that. It's a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie. I mean, it was over Christmas. It's just like now I can't think of the name. Alice's Restaurant is a Thanksgiving song.
Don't know that one.
Because you don't know Alice's Restaurant?
I don't think so.
How could you not know Alice's Restaurant? Like a classic. Most radio stations play it like 10 times on Thanksgiving because it's, he talks about going to Alice's Restaurant on Thanksgiving. You don't know Arlo Guthrie's Alice's Restaurant?
Probably not, because it doesn't sound familiar.
Oh, you have to.
I just realized I forgot to take permanent marker to the end of my extrusions before I put the caps on. I can see the shininess around the edge.
Oh, to blacken them. Oh, you got to hear Alice's Restaurant. It's not. I mean, it's a song, but it's not really. It's just him talking, telling the story.
Yeah.
Oh, how could you not have heard Alice's Restaurant? How old are you?
46.
You're kind of young for it. It was 60.
I didn't get to it. I was born in the 70s. I didn't get to enjoy the 70s.
Yeah, see, I had 4 older brothers, so even though I was born in the 60s and really grew up in the 70s, I was like, I listened to all the music my brothers did, who are all, 8, 10 years older than I am. My oldest brother graduated 11 years old before I did. I was like 6 years old when he graduated. The thing I hate about shaving, my big freaking rip lip scar freaking shines. Sticks out. Where I ripped my whole lip off. Mountain biking. How could you not heard of Alice's Restaurant? You can get anything you want in Alice's Restaurant. "37 8x10 colored glossy pictures with circles and arrows on the back of each one."
Well, Michael Castle's a youngin'. Dang.
It's still such a popular song. I mean, it's still popular. He just came out with the 40th anniversary, it's like 10 years ago now. The 40th anniversary copy of the song. I'm sure you've heard Arlo Guthrie, haven't you?
No.
You don't know who Arlo Guthrie is? Oh my God, how could you not know who Arlo Guthrie? I am old. How could you not? I love music. Music calms me when I'm doing stuff. I like music in the background. Like when I'm working on a computer, I gotta have music playing.
That's the other reason. It's like everybody's bugging me that I don't know if YouTube and me are gonna work out because I'm gonna have to build a better studio because I can't print and film for my YouTube because the printer makes too much noise. I'm sure you guys can hear the CRX running in the background.
No, not really.
Really? I can hear it when I film my YouTube streams. I can hear it.
I can't hear
it. The Vinci's are even louder. I want my jukebox going, but I can't legally have it going because all the music in it's copyrighted.
Yeah, I can't do anything. The Frown King, I got it all running. I did one print off of it. It's done. I gotta do something. It's too freaking loud. I'm too used to all of these TMC drivers now. That thing run all day long. I can't hear it.
Yeah, I love this thing. Unless the only time I hear the belt running is when it does moves.
Yeah, and even then it's like
mine.
Really loud.
It's funny. You heard it the one night. It'll sit there printing all silent. Woo! It'll just shoot across the table. It's like.
And you can actually stop that by just lowering your travel speed.
Yeah. Well, the problem
I got my travel speed on that 100, so it doesn't do that.
Well, if I do that though, then I get too much stringing and ooze by the time it gets from one position to the other when I'm crossing 400 millimeters.
I just have it retract and then do a wipe. Yeah, I mean, that gets stringy and ooze anyway, so I don't care. But yeah, I think I got 100 or 110 movement speed, travel speed. And that thing's almost dead silent.
Yeah, I cranked mine up because I got tired of it going too slow.
I can hear the fans more than anything else. This one's a little bit louder with the IMV board because it's got the 2108s or whatever, the one step down from that.
I was like, I don't understand. Glenn was saying how noisy the FK1 was, and he said the loudest thing was the fan and the power supply. I've got the same power supply he's got, I think, and I can't hear a darn thing off of that.
My power supply, both of these, They're both mean wells.
Yeah.
And like right now, I can't hear it, but when it winds up, because it accelerates and decelerates for heat, if it gets hot, that thing gets freaking loud. That power supply is ridiculously loud, and this one's even worse.
I wonder if it's because of where I have it. Because you think about it, it's
24 volt.
It's in here. It's covered. The plate's on, a quarter inch away from the top of the cover.
What
and
power
I probably have enough.
Assuming you got a mean well.
Yeah, I've got the LRS 350.
Oh, so it's the same thing as that one or that one.
It's the only one that's small enough to fit within a 2040 rail.
Oh, so you got the slim. That's why.
Yeah, that's why I got the LRS, because it'll fit within the 2040 rail.
But you gotta have it'll kick on more, but it's quieter. Because this one, that one's a 12 volt. They're the same thing, except for that one's 12 volt and this one's 24 volt. I put the 24 volt on with the NZ board, and oh my god, that 24 volt one, because it doesn't run at all unless it gets hot.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it'll kick on, because most of the time, like right now, it won't kick on at all winter long, unless I do a really long print. But when it does, it's like, holy crap, what was that?
Yeah, the CRX is the same way. The CRX is twice as loud when that mean well power supply kicks on in it, because it's the 24 volt. But the one on the belt printer, you can hear it spin up, but I barely hear it. I don't know if it's because of the covers I have and I'm deflecting enough sound or what, but it's quiet. I don't really have much of a difference in sound when that fan kicks in.
Oh, I'm getting tired.
I'm so close. It's like it's getting annoying, and I'm sure people are going to hate the videos I do for building this thing, because I'm not worrying about trying to get all the really good close scenes. I'm putting it together, and you can see me putting it together on video. And I try to go back and do like some fly-ins for what's done so you can see what it looked like. But I'm like, I don't have time to build this thing and do in-depth, in detail, nice up in front of the camera for everything. I'm like, I'm this close to saying forget the darn camera and just putting it together and worry about it later. But yeah, I'm trying to film it all on camera so I can do, kill two birds with one stone. But
I started doing that. I got about an hour into it. I said, screw it. I built that whole thing, and there's no record of it anywhere.
If I get within 2 weeks of Murph and this thing isn't done, the camera's getting turned off and it's just getting finished.
Yeah. Don't really need a video of it anyways. I gotta lose weight. I'm getting fat. I'm too fat for me. I was like 175 pounds at Thanksgiving. Now I've got to be an easy 205, if not more.
Yeah, you probably would have laughed at me this week when I was milling it, when I turned down the drums. I had no matter how hard I tried to hit the center mark on the 1/2-inch shafts, I'd put it up on there and I'd spin it and you could see it wobbling like a 1/16 of an inch. It was driving me insane. So I found a solution. I took my end stop and instead of trying to do the center pin, I pulled off a piece of I had some like 1.5-inch, 1/4-inch wall aluminum tubing. Mm. I took it, I milled one side down so it would slide on the outside of my adjustable chuck on my end stop. And I took the other side and I milled it out to the 32 millimeters. That's the size of the bearings that are in this thing. And put the whole thing and basically made it where one end's in the lathe, mount the bearing, put it on the end stop, and put the other end of the shaft in the bearing. And I was spinning it straight in the bearings. It runs on the printer.
There you go.
And I just found it.
All clamp on one side?
What's that?
Isn't it?
What's that?
Don't you have you're talking about putting on a lathe, right?
Yeah.
Isn't there a jaw clamp on one side that's self-centering?
The jaw clamp on one side, yeah. But on the other end, you usually have just like a pin that you
drill. Right.
Yeah. And you set it. I could not get the center lined up perfect enough to get it to go straight. So instead, I just took the sleeve that the pin sets in and runs in and out on the handle, because you can crank it in and out. Yeah. I just made a sleeve that slid over the outside of that for 1/4 of an inch and then held the bearing on the other side.
Well, there you go. There's a brilliant idea. We should design and 3D print a self-centering, basically another jaw for the other side. But it's just a lightweight 3D print that centers it, and then you can put your centering pin in. Brilliant idea. I mean, that's all you use it for, is for centering the center pin on the stock.
But yeah, what I did worked great. I put all
a solid aluminum.
What's that?
Is that solid aluminum or?
No, it's 3-inch, 1/8 wall.
Then what the hell are you spinning it for?
Because it's extruded tube. It's not true.
Oh, I got you.
The one that I gave Mike, I didn't turn them down. I just hit them with some sandpaper and smoothed them out. And you can, every once in a while, you can hear the belt getting tighter and looser, depending on what position the rollers are in. I'm hoping by turning them down, I've eliminated that.
Why didn't you just buy turn? Well, you got stuff, do it yourself.
Well, and I'm trying to keep it cheap for. Okay, I priced out having custom rollers made.
Yeah,
that's like $200. Yep. Or you can print the 2 end caps in the centerpiece and buy the stainless rod and buy the 3-inch tubing for like $50. It's like, yeah, you won't have it perfectly true if you don't have a lathe at home, but it will still work. Not perfectly true. If you're lucky and you got a lathe at home, then great. You do like I do. You put in your little home lathe and you turn it down. Or if you have a machine shop near you, you might get lucky enough to make it. Just say, hey, can you turn these true for me real quick? And they might charge you another $20, $30 to turn them. But I'm trying to keep it to where it's stuff that, everyday people can, use their tools and make it. I know everybody doesn't have a jigsaw or a vibrating tool, but it's a tool you can go to Harbor Freight and buy for $20.
Yep. That you can.
And I'm still a firm believer that it's never a bad thing to buy a tool.
Yeah. I'm kind of getting to the point where I want to get rid of some.
Well, yeah, you might at some point you'll get rid of them, but unless you break it, you'll never have a problem getting rid of it either. You might not get what you paid for it, but the first thing that sells at every yard sale is tools. Somebody comes along, and if you got it marked cheap enough, yeah, it'll go. My best friend's clearing out his garage. He's getting rid of chop saws. $25 and $50 he sold a couple of them for. Not nowhere near what he paid for them probably originally, but then again, he's used them for the last 15 years.
I'm trying to get a new slider, and they've gone up. So you'd think they'd be coming down and everything. They have gone up in price so ridiculously. I'm going to have to rebuild my Hitachi. I can buy new handles. I broke my handles when I dropped it and blew my back out. They dropped it on me and shattered the handle. And, it's old anyways, and I was looking to replace it. But, God, I think I paid $250 for it, and that was kind of pricey. And that's a, quality. You either got the Hitachi or the Milwaukee. Or Makita, excuse me. Those were the two to buy at the time I bought it. Things got to be 10 years old, if not more. And they still make that one, but it's like $700 now for the 10-inch. It's ridiculously overpriced. And all they have now is these newfangled ones that are like $300, but they're crap. You might as well freaking buy the Sears no-name brand crap one. And don't buy the Craftsman. Please don't.
Now, I want touch Craftsman power tools.
Some of their stuff's all right. For homeowner grade, but oh my God. My boss bought one just as a we were at a job site, and it was in Rhode Island. And both of us, he's got a halfway decent DeWalt, and I have my Hitachi, and neither one of us thought to bring the chop box because we thought the other guy did. So we're both standing there, and we're like, crap. This is like a year and a half, 2 years ago. He goes, well, there's a Sears right down the street. I'm like, well, go and buy go and buy just a cheap saw or chop box. Or he's like, you know what? We should get a halfway decent one that we can let the guys use. So they're not using our two because we both have really expensive ones. And that way, when they're doing crappy fencing, you're cutting it off to bury it in the ground. No one cares if it's perfect. So he's like, all right, I'm going to buy the Sears halfway decent 10-inch sliding chop box. Nice, We're looking at it in the store. We're like, yeah, it's not terrible. It was like $250, $300, which is, medium cheap. It's not the cheapest. You can go to, Harbor Freight and get $150 super cheapo. But anyway, so we get this thing and we bring it back and we plugged it in. We started using it. We're both laughing like, oh my God, this thing's so terrible. You slide it and the bearings are like clunk, 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 clunk. Oh, it's so bad. This is the worst saw I've ever used. I used to love Craftsman stuff, man.
I like the tools just because of the warranty.
I had an old Craftsman circular saw from the 70s that I wish I'd never gotten rid of. I think it weighed about 800 pounds. But I'll tell you what, that thing had a nut. No, I am not a DeWalt fan. I've gone to DeWalt's. DeWalt has a half a dozen really, really good tools. And most of their cordless stuff everyone thinks so great. They are awesome, brand new. They are the fastest wearing out tool ever.
All my cordless is DeWalt. I abuse the hell out of it.
Yeah, but you're not using it on job sites all day long every day like we are.
This thing, I put all new subfloor in my house, 3-inch screws into the beams.
On one house.
6 inches apart. I ran this thing till I had to wear gloves, and then I kept running it till smoke poured out of it, and it still works.
Yeah. In one house. We do that all day long, every day for months at a time.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, Makita. They will outlast the DeWalt any day of the week. I gotta say, my Porta-Cable, I bought the new Porta-Cable, which is the cheap Porta-Cable after Black & Decker bought them out. The Porta-Cable you get at Lowe's is the cheap crap Porta-Cable you get now. And I had those cordless tools. They lasted. They don't have the power. The batteries and stuff don't last as long as the Milwaukees and the Makitas. But I'll tell you what, I sold them for $50 or $100 for the whole set with all my batteries and everything. And they were still running fine. They just, you get a couple, 3 hours out of a battery all day. My Makitas run all day long on a battery charge. I'll take Makita or Milwaukee is the second. And Milwaukee's actually better, but it's not that much better, and it's usually so much more expensive. I will say I have they bought me I think it was Christmas like 2 years ago. They bought me the little 12-volt Milwaukees, the little red 12-volt. And I get the little Sawzall and everything. It's tiny. That thing's freaking nice. That whole set's nice. I love that set. I like it over my Bosch. I got a Bosch right here that I bought for, this kind of crap.
Yeah.
I'm about ready to get rid of the Bosch. Bosch is brand new almost. And I never use it. I'd rather use the Milwaukee.
Remember the other night we were streaming, I was saying this was recessed 3 millimeters?
Yeah.
Nice and flush now.
Oh, very nice for you.
I don't know what I changed. Somehow I had to have changed the files. The only thing I could think of. I ended up redesigning the end cap and reprinting it. Made it 3 millimeters taller, and it's fixed now. But I don't recall changing any of the files, but I must have.
Yeah, you cut something shorter or printed something wrong.
The only thing I did was I made a modification to put the cable holder on there. And I printed the pieces separately and added them to the one I had to start with. The only thing I can think of is that at some point when I was doing that, I somehow managed to shrink the whole tray in length.
What are you doing in Fusion?
Do it on purpose.
What are you designing in Fusion?
No. I wish I knew how to use Fusion.
What do you use?
Remember, I'm doing this all in Microsoft 3D Builder.
Seriously?
The whole thing has been designed in 3D Builder.
Holy crap, dude. Actually, I shouldn't say that because that's actually, I have used that a couple times. And for what it is, I mean, it's a step up from Tinkercad, but barely. It's actually, it's a pretty good reader too. Like if you have a file you want to open up and take a look at, it's actually really good at incorporating.
It loads quick.
Yeah, it does load quick.
But yeah.
Dude, Fusion is so easy though if you're using that.
The problem is I learned 3D Builder first because it was free and I didn't know about Fusion yet. Yeah, once you got one way of doing stuff in your head, I need to spend time with someone who uses Fusion and just I need to take example. Something simple. I need to take this little housing that holds the switch. It's 2 squares with openings cut in them. I need to get someone to sit down and teach me just how to make this in Fusion.
That's literally 5 minutes in Fusion.
I can almost do it that fast in 3D Builder.
Measure it and get the dimensions, then it will be to model it.
But I need to sit down and take the time and learn how to make this.
Did you ever do drafting in high school?
No.
See, that's the problem. That's why Fusion came so easy to me, because I took a lot of drafting and mechanical drawing and all that when I was in high school. And that's very much, if you know drafting, if you took, classic paper drafting, Fusion is drafting.
But yeah, I need to learn because
AutoCAD is 100 times more difficult.
I've tried importing the STLs. I've tried importing the STLs into Fusion and trying to edit them and clean them up and get rid of all the extra facets, and it's impossible.
It's not impossible, but it's not. You're better off just starting from scratch.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what I'm going to have to do is, and what I'm probably going to do is I want to probably try and just import them in and then trace. I know I've watched Mike do it once or twice and trace all the points. And then
you know what we're going to do? I'm assuming you have a sketch or a drawing, or you have the dimensions. You know what you want.
Yeah.
You can get the dimensions. So we're sitting here doing what we're doing now. We'll sit down and we'll fire up Fusion, and I will walk you through it.
Yeah, that's the one nice thing with 3D Builder. I can click on any axis, and it'll give me the measurements for the most part.
That's what I sort of did with Paw Prince there. What the hell's his name? When he first started, the few things he already started way before I got involved with him, but he had a few questions, and instead of just saying, "Oh, this is how you did it," I walked him through it, and that makes it so much easier. If we literally sit on a hangout like this, and you fire it up, share your screen, and I go, point, click, do this, do that, this is what you want to do. That's the best way to learn, is not to watch these videos of them building something that you have no interest in. The best way to learn a piece of software like that is to design something you want to design because you want to design it. You know what I mean? Then you pay attention to what you're doing. And if you can just have somebody sit there like I do and just go, okay, what do you want to do? Well, I want to draw this box and make this box. Well, this is okay. Start here, do this, do that, do this. Because it's so simple in Fusion.
Yeah, because unfortunately, if I get the feeling, if I end up making a kit out of this printer and they decide they want to CNC all the bracketry and printed pieces, they're not going to take it from STL files. They're going to ask for step files or CAD files, and I'm going to be like, I don't have them.
Yeah, well, you kind of do, but with STL I can convert. You realize you can convert an STL real easy in Tinkercad. Tinkercad is like the best STL conversion out there.
I can convert it. I've managed to convert most of them in
STL files.
I've managed to convert most of them that I've tried anyway. I got to play around with the facet count a little bit, but I've managed to convert most of them into Fusion 360. But you get it up there, and a flat edge will have 5,000 triangles down the side instead of being one flat square.
Yeah, that's because it's an STL.
Yeah.
It's
well, even once you convert it from STL to whatever BCE or whatever it is, or
so you need to convert it to a solid. It is a bitmap. An STL is a bitmap, basically. It's a map using bits. Yeah, AutoCAD is. Oh my god, I hated AutoCAD.
How didn't
I can draw faster with paper and pencil than I can in AutoCAD. Where Fusion, I can do Fusion faster than I can do paper. And I did a total of almost 10 years of drafting.
That sucks. I just wasted all that time.
What? What'd you do?
I must have forgot to scale this back up to the right size from the original.
Oh, you just printed another one?
Well, no, I made a little piece.
Yeah.
It's the right size, but I made it in a taper that was supposed to meet this perfect.
Yeah.
And it doesn't match at all. It's way too small.
It's all right, though.
I want to glue it on there and just be done. I want it to look neat. I don't want there to be that spot for dirt and stuff.
For dirt and crap to get in there. Well, flip it over and go the other way with it.
No, I just gotta have to scale. That sucks. I gotta make it again.
No, that's not that big. Hey, what's up, Sean?
It didn't take me that long. I have to do it all again from scratch, though, unfortunately. Okay, import model.
No, I'm getting ready to kill it anyway, Sean. I've been on it. I was only going to do this for like an hour, and then I was going to go. I don't even think there even anyone. We had like 10 or 12 people in here before. We got now 5.
I scared everybody away.
No, actually, you're probably more interesting than I am. Yeah, no, I'm gonna bail and probably go watch some TV and go to bed. I gotta say, if this is the extent of my cold, I'm okay with it. I have like a mild sore throat and a very mild headache, and I've had them for like 2 days now, and it hasn't really gotten any worse.
I'm sorry, I am listening to you. I'm just doing math in my head real quick here.
That's what you got to do, Sean, is you got to get with him, Carl, or get with Midnight Giant and have some of your swords and stuff printed on that belt printer.
Great minds think alike. That may have already been discussed. Not that I away.
Here too. What's up, Chris? I care about 3R versus The only reason I literally that day you guys are discussing it, Chris, you and Glenn and in one of your little things, I actually did that tweet to that guy like a week ago, and he just responded today. I don't think he goes on Twitter very much. And I just had to do it because, I just knew that was going to... That and when, because Tom Sandlander just did his whole video for his, 20,000 or 1 million people. And he did that. Have you watched his video, Chris? Where he explains why he doesn't care. He's always going to call it Slic 3R because it's easier. He's like, you wouldn't call water Watt 4R. He does a whole bunch of them like that. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't call water Watt 4R. That's why you don't call Slicer Slic 3R. You call it Slicer. But I got a kick out of the Watt 4R. Anyway, you want to jump in here and hang out with us, Chris? Although I'm probably going to kill it soon. Have you got a video coming out? Yeah, no, I think Tom hates me now because I did that. I think he took it the wrong way. He didn't even respond. At least you got to, you guys know me, so I was being sarcastic when I asked the guy in the first place. I can't believe he actually responded to that. Like I said, I asked him like a week ago. I'd forgotten all about it until it popped up on my screen this morning. Yeah, I'll go over to Shums for a bit too. What the hell you doing? You're being awful quiet all of a sudden. Oh, he's thinking. Look at the smoke coming out of his ears. Holy crap.
No, I was redoing that file.
Yeah, I figured that once I saw what you were doing.
I said, and I'm already done. That's how quick I can. Yeah, that's a simple model, but would it take me a minute or two? Now I just got to waste another couple hours printing it, unfortunately. Drink coaster. Very bad maker coin. No labeling.
Yeah,
known as a trash frisbee.
Yes, I don't like YouTube beta either, dude. There's a way, and I can't remember how I did it, but I like erased the YouTube beta crap. I made it so it doesn't go there anymore. Oh, I know how. I went to the regular one and I made a bookmark of the regular one. That's how I did it. I have a bookmark in my menu. No more beta crap. I hate the YouTube beta. That is just so terrible. Why do they come up with these things that make stuff worse? What moron sits there and goes, hey, let's make it more difficult?
The nice thing is they haven't forced us over to it yet.
Yeah, but they kind of have. Like when I start to stream, I was just saying, I got this all in my menu bar now. If I go down to my regular, if you go down to regular menu, you go to the user and go down to, Creator Studio, it'll pop up the beta automatically. The only reason I don't go directly to the beta is because I have a direct bookmark going to the old standard. I haven't even been on Twitter most of the night since I did that. I wonder if anyone's even responded to that. Look, no notifications. This is something I'm yet to understand. I get absolutely smashed with review requests, despite being logistically difficult, but less reach than yourself, to help convince Chinese companies of your worth. Yeah, sure.
Oh, all right. Well, I think you want to jump out of here. I need to go do some stuff. So
I am.
Let me let you go.
To jump in here, and here I am giving a link to jump in, and I'm going to kill it anyways, but whatever. Who's even in here? Nobody. We have a whole 4 people watching.
Where's that now? Chris is here.
No, we're going over to you anyway, so I'm going to go watch yours for 5 minutes. I'm not going to stay on much longer. For one, my throat's getting really sore all of a sudden again. I mean, it's been rough all night, but
yeah.
Good
all right, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, I'm killing it. Later, guys.
See ya.
Everyone go over to Askew 3D's video. He'll be live streaming, probably with music, jamming. He'll model something. Are you modeling, Shom, or are you just building stuff out on the? Or did you leave already? Anyway, go over to Skewed View 3D's site. He'll be modeling it in a minute, or building, or something. Later, Chris.